You lowly man, the one dying is you. A furious roar shook the grounds. Victorious star-flowery-necked tiger Konghou Yuan endured the pain of losing her master. Straddling the star beast, multicolored tiger, she pounced at Zhao Heng like a berserk tiger. Zhao Heng was caught off guard. Sustaining a slash and a claw, he was fortunate that Konghou Yuan had suffered heavy injury, for her strength was not as it was before. Zhao Heng scowled in anger. His hand waved, and a divine fire-flying sword turned to attack. Suo Qingshuang spurred her horse. Its four hooves thundering as she instantly slayed Konghou Yuan. The girl let out a tiger's hiss of hatred and then star fell. The power of her crimson star descended, making Zhao Heng's anger substantially quell. Zhao Heng, what are you doing? Li Xianyan changed, hastily retreating. Cai Yunjin's hand grasped the blood-marked lethal flower, and its blood flowers twisted. Yellow technique. Life-taking. 200,000 fire dragons rapid kill. Suo Qingshuang's hands waved her axe, and surging fire dragons roared out of the axe's blade. Streaming out like a river, they were out of hand. Li Xianyan activated his heavenly river sword technique, spitting out rock-piercing water droplets. The 100,000 fire dragons immediately destroyed all of their techniques. Li Xianyan and Cai Yunjin jumped, falling back 100 chi, gazing at this collapsing alliance. Yan Wudao's smile was full of even more derision. Your alliance fell apart so quickly? Truly disappointing. Zhang Biluo had the same feeling. She suddenly showed a row of pearly white teeth, a candid grin. This is bad. Ranked 95th earthly damage star stock of flower Cai Yunjin made the blood-marked lethal flower circle her surroundings, blocking the concealed weapons. On the other side, the impatient Zhao Heng was not so fortunate. Suo Qingshuang's raging inferno snow leopard horse swung several times in succession, knocking Flight Star impatient vanguard off her horse. The girl's gracefulness completely vanished. Gritting her teeth, she waved out her 100,000 dragon flame axe. Bang, bang. The omnipresent concealed weapons struck home, beating Suo Qingshuang into vomiting blood. Zhao Heng also was suffering wretchedly. Your Highness Zhao Heng, Biluo shall take your life. Zhang Biluo appeared riding on her green bird, showing a clean smile that was full of purity, yet the words she spoke would leave someone more terror-stricken than a reaper. 8 asking directions to the underworld stones whirled around her fingers, flickering with a dark green light, as if they were will-o-wisps. Imperial sister, help me. Zhao Heng's demeanor practically disappeared. There was only pale terror. Dong Junqing pensively smiled. Zhao Hanyan sighed. The entire ugly course of events was witnessed by the Ling Yan princess' eyes. She only felt that her own imperial brother was unbearably ugly. Not only did he shift blame to others, he had fallen to such a state that he looked like a beaten stray dog. This really served him right. Remembering that he was, after all, her dear little brother, Zhao Hanyan was not yet actually cold and pitiless. The Ling Yan princess unhurriedly turned her gaze, looking to Xie Yuan. The latter was mellow as water, a calm demeanor neither cold nor hot. Xie Yuan, until when will you still wait to become the snipe that catches both the clam and fish? Maybe after you have died? Zhao Hanyan thought this was funny. The Xie Yuan in possession of the Succeed Star General, 3, already long lost the capabilities to Star Duel. However, his supercluster middle stage cultivation and most high path genius disciples Halo were more useful than the Succeed Star. Yan Wudao's Zhang Biluo possesses 5-star concealed weapons. If you fight alone, could it be you have a chance of winning? Is it not better to wait for that Crystal Dragon Palace to arrive? Xie Yuan said in no rush. He and Zhao Hanyan actually were thinking the same thing. Who knows where she is hiding? By the time she reveals herself, we will have been defeated by Yan Wudao. Zhao Hanyan faintly said. Were you waiting for me? Your servant is truly apologetic. A clear, sing-song voice rang out. A young girl walked out. Her face was beautiful, with eyes like a red phoenix's, a pure and limpid dark blue. Her brows were like green mountains, her lips like cinnabar, skin like snow, and a fresh, clean dark blue waves smoke muslin skirt that elegantly accentuated the girl's plump curves. Her white cloak embroidered with cherry blossoms was not ostentatious in the slightest, yet it was still eye-catching. Beside the girl was another woman, a night pearl hung, binding her long, flowing hair. She wore a goose-yellow long skirt, and her figure was wonderful. She was also a naturally beautiful belle. The pair from a glance actually seemed to have a Star General's background, however, that fine-haired woman's hand held a jade sword, its body bright, seemingly crystalline, like flowing water. Light twinkled, emitting a dragon's cry. 5 flowing stars. Which made Zhao Hanyan's brows rise. Flying waterfall dragon cry sword. Earthly star, one of the 4 heavenly kings, the ranked 38th malignant star guardian of 3 mountains Huang Xian. The Crystal Dragon Palace's star general, surprisingly a martial general from the earthly star 4 heavenly kings. Zhao Hanyan was even more curious about that Longnu. Not only herself, but Xie Zhenyuan and Yan Wudao also cast concentrated gazes. Supercluster Middle Stage Peak. The Crystal Dragon Palace was, as expected, Liangshan Continent's #1 treasure great sect. The cultivation of the disciples under its care surprisingly were not outdone by her own. Zhao Hanyan had relied on the purple smoke-confusing sky lantern in order to quickly advance her cultivation. She wondered what opportunities that woman had. Have you looked carefully enough? Ling Yan Princess. Your servant Long Nu hails from the Crystal Dragon Palace. Long Nu slightly smiled. Long Nu, your servant wonders what relationship you have with that Queen Mother of Crystal Long Wanqin. 5. Zhao Hanyan asked. Long Nu's mother. So you are the princess of the Crystal Dragon Palace. Zhao Hanyan did not dare slight her. Hearing her father Emperor mention many times the name of Queen Mother of Crystal Long Wanqin, his words were full of admiration and praise. Zhao Hanyan had never thought that the Star Master of the Crystal Dragon Palace would surprisingly come from an influential family. Long Nu's rank is 7th. Your servant would not dare compare herself to the Ling Yan princess. It turns out she is that rumored 7th princess. Dong Junqing licked her lips. Princesses, have you chatted enough? Xie Zhenyuan interrupted them. Zhao Hanyan giggled, as did Long Nu. Their identities were both well known in the Azure Dragon territory, and they could not help but chat upon meeting. Long Nu had been entangled with the Divine Wood Valley's Star Master just now, a minor delay. Please, do not take offense. Long Nu smiled. Seeing that her body had faint traces of a Crimson Star's power, perhaps this minor delay had destroyed her opponent. Zhao Hanyan seemed to recall the Star General of the Divine Wood Valley's cultivator was the ranked 62nd Wild Star Harry Star Kong Ming, Kong C, 6, who actually was not an impressive opponent. Yan Wudao's Star General Zhang Biluo is unexpectedly already 5-star. Truly formidable. Long Nu warmly pondered. To face a king of concealed weapons, is 7th princess willing to cooperate? The tears of Empress Hua are endless. Before the eyes close, we can equally share. Zhao Hanyan said. For the Ling Yan princess to say this, Long Nu is overwhelmed by your favor. Long Nu nodded. She naturally would not decline, for she was very clear on the might of Zhang Biluo's concealed weapons. That man running away is also an enemy. Guardian of 3 mountains Huang Mengrue pointed at the Zhao Heng on sinister errands, mocking him. Imperial sister, rescue me. Zhao Heng already turned from help to rescue. Zhang Biluo's omnipresent asking directions to the underworld stone struck Suo Qingshuang senseless. So he turned out to be the Ling Yan princess' imperial brother. Long Nu held back a snicker. No need to mind him. The star duels are merciless, anyways. However, it is best that we face Zhang Qing first. Zhao Hanyan said earnestly. Xie Zhenyuan and Long Nu nodded. Then, they each formed hand seals, launching their flying swords. Long Nu's flying swords were an extremely rare sword chant, as expected. dust-washing flying swords. When these swords emerged, each showed a blue wave's true dragon, a fierce intimidation. The three people flashed and scuttled into the main hall's center. Hou Ruoyan, Dong Junqing and Huang Mengrui each rode their star beasts. However, that Hou Ruoyan's star beast was a treasure monkey in her palm made Zhao Hanyan very speechless. Huang Mengrui had a single-horned, iron-armored ox-like star beast. It was called Terrible Leg 7, considered a top-notch star beast among the earthly stars. On the star beast list, it was ranked 10th. Imperial Sister. When Zhao Heng saw Zhao Hanyan come forward, he was moved to having tears stream all over his face. Zhao Hanyan coldly glanced at him. Dong Junqing raised her double spears and was about to attack, 8, scaring Zhao Heng into immediately retreating 100 meters. Dong Junqing laughed, no longer minding him. It seems Wudao has become the villain. Yan Wudao was refined and elegant, not flinching at all facing the glaring eyes of Zhao Hanyan and the others. There is no good or evil to be spoken of in the star duels. However, Yan Wudao, your Zhang Qing is so ostentatious, we honestly are not confident unless we work together. Zhao Hanyan indifferently said. Yan Wudao gently smiled, his eyes saying, could it be you believe that teamwork can overcome me? Just walk down Biluo's, hell has no road. 9. The green bird was like wind manifest, and Zhang Biluo made an unbridled provocation. Allow Mengrui. Guardian of three mountains Huang Mengrui's hand gripped her flying waterfall dragon cry sword and smiled, her terrible leg moving. Zhao Hanyan and the others simultaneously attacked with their flying swords. The star generals acted together. Wind and thunder rose. A rain of blood fell. Black Turtle Temple. Su Xing currently stood opposite Qingci. The latter's side had two streaks of light flash by. Black Whirlwind Li Longkue and Fiery Thunderbolt Qin Mingyue simultaneously appeared on her left and right. Zhang Feiyu, I ask you, under whose hand will the deer die now? Shi Jingluan laughed. With the assistance of two heavenly star martial generals, 9 tattooed dragons' chances of victory were more certain. Zhang Feiyu's expression was unsightly. She had never thought that such a thing would surprisingly occur. Of course, something she would have ever thought of even more was yet to come. Little sister Qingci, are you planning to move with big brother? Su Xing put on a fake smile. Qingci, you recognize him? Shi Jingluan asked, flabbergasted. Qingci slightly nodded, her lips slightly moving. Shi Jingluan's brows wrinkled, and slight murderous desire flashed past her eyes. Compared to Qingci's indecisiveness, the Imperial Empress of the 9 Dragons was not so benevolent. Qingci never thought that Lord Su would come to the Black Turtle territory. Qingci sighed. Because she had planned for Su Xing to make the first move in the future star duels to make the righteous Lin Chong and others to change their minds, she did not wish to fall out with Su Xing right now. Of course, Qingci was very clear that even if they did fall out, she would have endless losses without benefits. Even if it was overwhelmingly advantageous for her to join hands with 9 tattooed dragons this time to face Su Xing, Qingci knew that Su Xing had the jade pendant. Killing him was a dream. Since they were unable to kill him, to offend a top-notch star master that possessed Lin Chong and Wu Song was a gain that did not make up the losses. The Qingci who was constantly situated in the middle of a contradiction, and it was precisely this sort of contradiction that made her occasionally bewildered at the star duels. Why would the Lin Chong and Wu Song who had never signed a contract in 1,000 years now sign a contract? Just what was the background of this man? But this sort of bewilderment had never easily flowed out. Qingci's stomach churned 100 times, and Su Xing also was brainstorming. Qingci. Shi Jingluan's tone was grave. Li Longkue was also growing impatient. Qingci slightly shook her head, again looking at Su Xing. How could Qingci turn hostile against Big Brother? But Qingci does not know what to do. Could Lord Su yield the great good fortune pill to little sister? What if Qingci and I signed a contract? How do you feel about that? Su Xing pondered. Qingci was taken aback. She smiled. Qingxi is a star master, how can we sign a contract? Lord Su is forcing Qingxi. That's so. Su Xing's eyes narrowed, however, I'm also kidding. Even if you actually agreed, Qingxi, there is no way I could have yielded. I already promised Yuqi. Lord Su truly plans to give it to her. Qingxi was doubtful. A true man keeps his promises. Su Xing was calm. It seems things can only be like this. There is no need for dear husband to take action. Hunyangzi gripped the golden wind and morning dew double sabers and stood in front of Su Xing. Although she looked exhausted, she did not cover her water-like beauty. Qingxi was slightly suspicious, flipping out her birth treasure outline and aiming it at Hunyangzi. Su Xing naturally was also blunt. Both of their birth treasure outline appeared at the same time. The two golden books radiated light, and waves of golden light shone clear and crystalline. Su Xing's birth treasure outline successively flipped through the materials for 9 tattooed dragons and Qin Mingyue. Star position, Fierce Star name, Qin Ming nickname, Fiery Thunderbolt true name, Qin Mingyue rank, 7th star weapon, Wolf-toothed fire beacon mace, 4-star, Star beast, Fire Feather Thunder beast realm, matchless 6th stage innate skill, Thunderclap intimidation 5 elements, Fire Yellow rank special move, Fire beacon reaching sky, 2, Dark rank special move, Dark rank special move, Flame engulfing mountains rivers, 3, current status, uprising, cannot be conquered, detailed. Materials. Because he knew from Lin Yingmei that Fiery Thunderbolt Qin Mingyue was a very fierce lowly, when he saw the materials for Qin Mingyue's status, Su Xing was not every surprised. It was actually when Su Xing looked at 9 tattooed dragons that he was startled. Star position, Minute Star name, Shi Jin, 5, nickname, 9 tattooed dragons true name, Shi Jingluan, 6, rank, 23rd star weapon, 9 dragons divine arms, 7, Yellow dragon staff, 8, 4-star, White dragon sword, 9, 2-star, Crimson dragon bow, 10, 2-star, Green dragon saber, 11, 2-star, Black dragon club, 12, 2-star, Sea dragon halberd, 13, 2-star, Earth dragon shield, 14, 2-star, Sky dragon chains, 2-star, Dragon trapping 9 section staff, 16, 2. Star beast, single-horned Pishio beast realm, matchless 5th stage innate skill, Dragon tattoo 5 elements, Earth yellow rank special move, Dragon leaning mountain, 17, staff, White lake overturning waves, 18, sword, Dragon piercing heart, 19, bow, Heavenly net earthly bond, 20, chains, Reign of centipedes, 21, 9 section staff, Dark rank special move, Yellow dragon worships heaven, staff, Dragon burning extreme break, 22, bow, 9 dragons 9 flashes, 9 section staff. Current status, not contracted, can be conquered, detailed materials. 9 dragons divine arms. Looking at that long list of weapons, Su Xing's eyes were dazed. The reputation that the legendary 9 tattooed dragons had 9 weapons was not in vain, as expected. She practically had everything she needed available. Although what combat paid particular attention to was specialization, more weapons contrarily being more mixed, if Shi Jingluan was to randomly change weapons during battle, that would be a frightening variable. The Su Xing that was full of combat experience was very clear, a sudden change in attack rhythm would bring great chance of victory. What made Su Xing impressed was that Shi Jingluan was even able to upgrade all of her star weapons to 2-star, with the yellow dragon staff even nearing the 5-star level. Only the master of a palace could have so much capital. However, what made Su Xing curious was that Shi Jingluan's status was not yet uprising. It was very odd. Shi Jingluan's heart was slightly unhappy to be looked at with the birth treasure outline. She looked at Qingxi with slight confusion, trifling with a star master in addition to addressing her opponent as if they were siblings despite being enemies. She felt that even neutered person would hurt in the balls. After looking through the materials, Su Xing again pointed the birth treasure outline at Qingxi. However, as before, the golden light of the birth treasure outline glowed without a bit of reaction. Su Xing was suspicious that Qingxi could possibly be Song Jiang, but this purple star treasure that supposedly could illuminate the names of all star maidens nevertheless was unable to. Could it be that Qingxi actually was only a star master? Was his planning excessive? Elder sister, make a move. Li Longkue was impatient, her killing intent soaring. Her star weapon had already reached 3-star, and her baleful aura was even more exaggerated. Just make a move. Be careful that you are not tricked in turn by someone putting on an act. Zhang Feiyu's words did not spare them. Seeing her little sister was still comatose, she already was violently thinking of quickly ending the Black Turtle Temple affair. Using such great effort for the sake of this dragon snake great good fortune pill, to use martial force is the sole method that is best at persuasion. Of course, if you are not careful and die in the process, you can only blame yourself for your ineptitude. Shi Jingluan spun her staff. Hey! Zhang Feiyu was about to attack. Wait! Su Xing suddenly called her back. Zhang Feiyu subconsciously stopped. Wait until this woman forcibly annihilates you. Su Xing rolled his eyes, saying to Qingxi, Qingxi, after this Black Turtle Temple, I have something to ask of you. I wonder if little sister Qingxi would be willing to agree. The implication was that this fight would rely on their own skills, and the loser would have to accept the result. Lord Su's request, Qingxi naturally will not decline. Qingxi discerned the hidden meaning in Su Xing's words, gladly agreeing. Su Xing shot a glance at the dragon snake great good fortune pill, and then he looked and smiled at Shi Jingluan. What Lady Jingluan says is right. We have to each rely on our own skill. If we die, we can't be resentful. I will generously bury this Lord Su. Shi Jingluan's charming gaze drifted over. Following Shi Jingluan's figure flying out, Li Longkue and Qin Mingyue also took action at the same time. Qingxi raised a Taotai cauldron to take the dragon snake great good fortune pill. Su Xing rushed over even faster. Wife little Huang. Su Xing softly said. Gongsun Huang emerged from star nest and sat on Su Xing's shoulder. The refined and elegant little girl understood tacitly, pointing her sword. Suddenly, the ground and hills of the Black Turtle Temple shook, the skies and seas crumbled. Half-destroyed landscape. A berserk power frantically squeezed the hall. Shi Jingluan, Li Longkue, and Qin Mingyue had no choice but to stop the attack, to defend with all their might. Qingxi did not expect at all for Gongsun Huang to use her dark rank technique a 4th time. This honestly was shocking. This is bad, we fell for his trap. 9 tattooed dragons' complexion suddenly changed. Black Turtle Temple collapsed. The originally critical Black Turtle Seal's blue fire immediately extinguished, and the dragon snake great good fortune pill emerged. Seizing this moment, Hun Yangzi flourished her hand, throwing the this feeling is endless lasso, dragging the thing over. You have an Oriole, I have a phoenix. Su Xing's laugh pierced through the violent ocean. Lord Su. Qingxi grit her teeth, waving her hand. A ray of black light struck at Su Xing astonishingly, it was the Yazi saber. Bang! Golden wind and morning dew were tossed, intercepting the astral treasure. Dear husband! Hun Yangzi shouted. The dragon snake great good fortune pill appeared in his hand. Little sis Qingxi, your servant's wife needs to rest, I don't want to fight anymore. I'll come find you next time, don't forget to brew big brother a cup of tea. Su Xing smiled, grabbed Hun Yangzi and quickly escaped just like that. When Zhang Feiyu and Siyou saw this, they also voluntarily grabbed a handful of the other good fortune pills, glowed with an escape light, and immediately left this place. Shi Jingluan wanted to go pursue, but under the chaotic tail escape, how could she ever be able to catch up? After several breaths, Su Xing broke away from the fuming 9 tattooed dragons of the Black Turtle Temple. Qingxi stared blankly, still not daring to believe what had just happened in front of her. In just this brief instant, Su Xing easily snatched away the dragon snake great good fortune pill. Qingxi completely did not expect that Su Xing had already finished planning. Remembering that she was still hesitating indeterminately a moment ago, Qingxi made a self-deprecating chuckle. Qingxi, ah. Could it be you wanted to be scorned by men for a lifetime? Her laugh was ear-piercing, bearing a slight roughness. Li Longkuei's expression sunk, pervading with killing intent. The most violent Qin Mingyue was downcast. Having died once before, she currently had not reached a stage of complete recovery. Qingxi. Shi Jingluan descended before Qingxi. Staring fixedly at her, 9 tattooed dragons chewed out word by word. I need one reason why I should not kill him, a reason to kill him. Jingluan, you actually have many. Qingxi bitterly smiled. These words surprised 9 tattooed dragons. Qingxi, what do you mean? Qingxi summarized her explanation. After hearing that unbelievable story, Shi Jingluan's smile vanished. What? He is the purple thunder monster. Why? Because he cannot be killed. After what happened, little sister Jingluan ought to be very clear how cunning that man is. To be frank, he recognizes Qingxi as his little sister, and there must be a purpose. Qingxi said. Humph. Li Longkue clearly did not recognize such words that he could not be killed. In the killer star's eyes, other than Qingxi, there was nothing that could not be killed. How can this type of star master be? Shi Jingluan nearly was about to curse Qingxi for being stupid. Just as she was about to say it, she still swallowed her words. Could it be, Qingxi, you are not worried that he could be sent by Maiden Mountain? There is only one reason he can contract so many star generals. Regardless of the reason, the 4th Phase 3 heavenly books will naturally reveal the result. Qingxi said. You have truly made this decision? Shi Jingluan seriously asked. Since it is Qingxi who decided, I shall believe in you. However, that man is too dangerous. I cannot believe in him and will still need to monitor him. Anyway, Shi Jingluan and Qingxi put it, they had helped each other from the very start. Their relationship was closer than sisters. Qingxi looked around and already could not see the original appearance of the Black Turtle Temple and sighed at the ruins. We were unable to save Ruan Xiaowu. This cannot be blamed on you. Who allowed that sword star Ruan Xing'er to insist on declining the uprising? Shi Jingluan pursed her lips. Although she felt this was a pity, she nevertheless was without a choice. Right, Qingxi, is it possible to have Ruan Xing'er join the uprising again? With revenge as a reason, although Guanxing was slain, she has not truly star-fallen. The 3 Ruans will not let her go, but for Ruan Xing'er to think of killing the 5-star destined weapon Brave Star Great Blade, just relying on the Jinpingmai's water fort alone is practically a fool's dream. Qingxi shall go test her again. Qingxi nodded. Then this will be all. Shi Jingluan was also weary. This Black Turtle Temple had wasted enormous energy and was actually wasted effort in the end. The Minute Star was incomparably dispirited. That man. That damned man. It was as if she had seen him somewhere before. Return to the palace. Shi Jingluan released the 9 dragons' aromatic cart. The group entered the cart, and it broke the surface, surging through the waves. The ruins were farther and farther away. Su Xing grimaced in pain. Bai Yutang emerged from the star nest and gave Su Xing her last bit of worry-free without a care to alleviate his suffering. In the future, it was better to use this chaotic tail escape sparingly. It truly would invite misfortune upon him. Su Xing's mind gradually recovered clarity. Hun Yangzi breathed a sigh of relief. How is Yuqi? Su Xing asked. Little sister is still comatose. Zhang Feiyu said, fidgety. There is no need to worry too much. Go back, I'll help take care of her. But, Feiyu, your care is in a state of confusion. Star generals that have contracted can resurrect. If she honestly cannot go on, just sign a contract. Siyou consoled her. But where do we find Sta? Zhang Feiyu stopped halfway and recalled something as she stared at Su Xing. Someone was shameless to the point of being awe-inspiring. Go back for now. Do not leave from the closest location. Perhaps those sects are already guarding the tree stump and waiting for rabbits. Hun Yangzi suggested. Dear husband has the 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo flying swords. The Black Turtle Territory's devil sects will not let dear husband go. Su Xing thought so as well. He tenderly smiled at Hun Yangzi. Fortunately, there is wife to remind me. This is what Nyangzi should be doing. Hun Yangzi's face was a rare red. All was still and calm, the silence automatic. The posture of Zhang Qing urging on her green bird was like a one-armed praying mantis, quietly standing on a slender leaf, catching the green wind. Her figure was firm, neither fast nor slow, becoming a place where there was a hole in the wind's flow, yet hidden in the errant wind such that she could kill at any time. So powerful. Zhao Hanyan, Long Nu and Xie Zhenyuan had their hands tied. Still think that you have a hope of victory by working together? Yan Wudao was expressionless. With his 9 turns illusion scapegoat art added onto Zhang Qing's innate skill, gods appear, devils vanish. Even the psychic communication of Zhao Hanyan's flying swords could not lock on to his tracks. Yan Xudao, did the lifeless hull teach you to fight by hiding your head and showing your tail? Zhao Hanyan sneered. Princess Highness is joking, how could Wudao face a crowd alone? Yan Wudao said unhurriedly. Dust-washing sword mind. Long Nu's hand pointed, and the dust-washing flying sword's blue light glowed. Instantly, seemingly endless arrows shot out into the sky, and after they arced, they all became half-chi-long crystalline flying sword shadows that split off into 500-600 more each. The densely packed swords covered the skies and earth on their way to Yan Wudao. When the Yan Wudao who was currently evading saw this, his grave and stern expression showed surprise. So many swordlights swooped over at the same time. Let alone the power, just the mountain and sea of blades was innumerable enough to make people lose their heads out of fear. Too late to give things more thought, not only did Yan Wudao's escape light not stop for a single moment, on the contrary, he was even faster afterwards. However, at the same time, more than 100 black sword lights shot out from within the escape light directly towards these crystalline sword lights. His 9 Hell's Rebirth swords astonishingly were not at a disadvantage. Zhao Hanyan and Xie Zhenyuan worked together, each of their flying swords launching attacks. With loud booms, the black and blue lights crisscrossed. Multicolored flames exploded amidst the white lights of sword qi, rolling up a several zhang long pillar that shot into the sky from time to time. The flying swords of 3 great supercluster middle stage cultivators intertwined, which was rather taxing for Yan Wudao. And in this moment of delay, Yan Wudao's 9 turns illusion scapegoat's escape technique reached the center of the main hall. He shot towards the image of Empress Hua with a swift flash. Wudao thanks you. Yan Wudao grunted, playing a game of hide-and-seek with Zhao Hanyan and the others. According to common sense, Yan Wudao absolutely was unable to contend against 3 people cooperating together in direct confrontation. Even if he were to face the Ling Yan princess one-on-one, his chances were only 50-50. Yan Wudao was an extremely shrewd person. As the only one here who had inherited the escape technique of gods appear devils vanish, no one present could beat him. Zhao Hanyan and the other 2 were unsuccessful in seizing Yan Wudao. Dong Junqing on the other side appeared even more sullen. Please, everyone step on the road to hell. Zhang Biluo's slender fingers seemed to throw a ball. Green flames scattered in all directions, and the asking directions to the underworld stones suddenly flashed, unusually agile. Bang, bang, bang. Slamming strikes continuously resounded. Steadfast Star Dong Junqing waved her Dragon Phoenix Yin Yang spear. With the 4-star Divine Spear in her hand, the 2 colors of Yin and Yang simultaneously flashed. She stepped onto the Void Dragon False Phoenix with great competence. But Zhang Qing's concealed weapons honestly were defiant of the natural order. Her 5-star concealed weapon was not necessarily able to contend against a 4-star weapon, but it was unable to withstand the numbers. They struck the void dragon false phoenix terribly. Dong Junqing was distressed to see this, and so as to avoid having her star beast killed like this, she had no choice but to withdraw it. "Where are you running?" Zhang Qing's figure flashed forth, and Dong Junqing seized nothing. Suddenly, her double spears swept. A wide expanse of yin-yang spear light shot down like a torrential downpour. It tore the palace of Empress Hua apart. The resentful Dong Junqing suddenly used her yellow technique, yin-yang cross-slash. A laugh. The sound of frivolous laughter. Zhang Qing easily evaded this yellow technique. Whoosh, whoosh. The asking directions to the underworld stone struck Dong Junqing's shoulders, nearly shattering her bones. "Do not let elder sister catch you." Dong Junqing was angry. Even if a 5-tiger general was like this, an earthly star 4 heavenly king also was not any better. The other who felt the same as herself was guardian of 3 mountains Huang Mengrui. The 5-star flying waterfall dragon cry sword lost its power to use martial force. Huang Mengrui used her illusory body techniques non-stop to rove about the palace of Empress Hua to avoid being harmed by the concealed weapon as she searched for a gap in Zhang Qing, waiting for a golden opportunity. Although Zhang Qing's concealed weapons were formidable, they had a weakness, which was that she could not be encroached upon by another person. Furthermore, continuous use of gods appear devils vanish was not easy on her endurance. Even if her star master Yan Wudao very smartly preserve his strength, there was a limit at the end. In the case that Zhang Qing slowed, even an earthly star martial general could send her down the path to the underworld. "Elder sister, you truly are disappointing." Huang Mengrui swept her sword, blue waves rippled, and a waterfall seemed to fall. "Ah!" A scream drew the attention of the 2 girls. Turning their heads to look, impatient vanguard Suo Chao was caught off guard and had been blindsided into the star nest by Zhang Biluo's concealed weapons. The 5-star concealed weapons continuously struck. The heavenly star martial general also was unable to bear it. Zhao Hun currently was collecting tears of Empress Hua. Upon seeing Suo Qingshuang die, his complexion immediately changed. "Your Highness, when Biluo said she would take your life, she meant it. How can Biluo eat her own words?" Zhang Biluo reappeared with a flash. 8 asking directions to the underworld stones whirled around her fingers. Following a mocking grin, they shot over at the same time. A flow of light appeared, and instantly, a several dozen zhang-wide net formed in front of Zhao Heng. Verdant green rays glowed, unceremoniously wrapping around his body. The 8 asking directions to the underworld stones formed an attack. The murderous aura contained within honestly was abnormally shocking. If it was an ordinary cultivator, even if a concealed weapon had not yet reached them, even if they had been rendered limp first by the surging baleful air of the concealed weapon, they would have lost control over magic energy. But Zhao Heng was a star master, after all, not as fearful of a star general as a normal cultivator would be. But Zhang Biluo's full power attack had sealed all of Zhao Heng's escape routes. With power so great, with an attack like an escapable net, even Zhao Heng was inwardly aghast. "Bastard!" Zhao Heng's flying swords immediately shot over. His face sunk, and he rubbed his hands. Suddenly, a light flashed. A gorgeous 7-colored flame fan appeared. It was the 7 Feathers Karma Fire Fan. One hand caught the tears of Empress Hua while the other grasped the handle of the fan. The star energy of his whole body gathered, and he ruthlessly fanned towards Zhang Biluo's concealed weapons. His star energy from head to foot seemed to be sucked into the fan. How could Zhao Heng's galaxy late-stage cultivation sustain this prehistoric spirit treasure? He nearly was about to fall over. Fortunately, after the 7 Feathers Karma Fire Fan cried, the fleeting magic energy immediately died out. Then, this fan suddenly shuddered. The tail feather-like 7-colored flames bubbled forth from the fans, and immediately afterwards, all of the flames concentrated in the middle. They unexpectedly directly transformed into 7 fire-type supernatural birds: a fire hawk, fire sparrow, fire crane, fire falcon, fire swan, fire crow, and a fire raven, each bearing one of the colors on their long feathers. They made a beeline to attack Zhang Biluo. The 7 feathers karma fire fan also was an extremely powerful prehistoric spirit treasure. Legend said that the true 7 feathers karma fire fan was forged from prehistoric fire birds, the likes of a fire phoenix and others. Their might was endless, the flames capable of engulfing heaven. Although the 7 feathers karma fire fan in Zhao Heng's hand was not as tyrannical, it could not be underestimated. The 7 fire birds slammed into 7 of the concealed weapons, suddenly striking down Zhang Biluo's attack. But there still was one more that struck Zhao Heng's heart-protecting mirror. The heart-protecting mirror shattered. Hey! Li Xianyan found a chance. The Heavenly River Sword technique attacked, and Zhao Heng was too late to dodge, again touching the mercilessness of Kaiyunjin's blood-marked lethal flower. Upon making contact with the quarrelsome and avaricious Star Master, Li Xianyan and Kaiyunjin did not held back, disgusted with him. Zhao Heng still was hoping for aid from his imperial sister, but Zhao Hanyan did not care at all. Without a choice, Zhao Heng could only hatefully use the jade pendant to escape from the palace of Empress Hua. Li Xianyan could not feel relaxed. The whistling concealed weapons pattered nearby, striking Kaiyunjin's body. The 5-star concealed weapons smashed apart the blood-marked lethal flower. Earthly damaged star became dust in the blink of an eye. Li Xianyan already was an arrow at the end of its path. Seeing that the others would not help with this, he knew that these great sect cultivators were waiting for him to leave the palace of Empress Hua. Unresigned to do so, Li Xianyan raised a flying sword and a talisman. The torrent of the heavenly river became a barrier. Seizing the gap, he hastily gathered the tears of Empress Hua from the idol of Empress Hua. Although these were not the 1,000-year tears, he could not count as having come in vain. Coldly snorting, Li Xianyan also immediately used the jade pendant to escape the main hall. Zhang Biluo's silhouette appeared. The young girl's lithe figure floated in the air, her green bird like wind and fog, making the girl appear seemingly unreal. The troublesome ones have all left. Now, there are only several sisters. Zhang Biluo smiled. A slim finger was cast. The asking directions to the underworld stones whistled out. Ho Ruoyan released the net of deep passion in an attempt to intercept the concealed weapons. The girl's thoughts were very attentive, but her 4-star destined weapon and a 5-star could not be compared. The heavenly silkworm treasure silk swiftly shredded. This little sister is cute. Biluo will play with little sister a little later, first let Biluo fight those annoying elder and little sisters. Zhang Biluo's voice resounded in the wind. Arrogant. No forgiveness. Dong Junqing and Huang Mengrui were angered by agile star Zhang Biluo's teasing. But Zhang Biluo's gods appear, devils vanish, the errant concealed weapons, and her body techniques made the two of them have plenty of space for their great martial force, yet no place to use it. This road to hell will leave elder and little sisters with no leeway. Zhang Biluo's arms crossed. Her tender 8 fingers clamped the 8 underworld stones. The girl wore a candid smile, her expression full of danger. Her murderous aura was pressing. The asking directions to the underworld stone was very dangerous, the tiebreaker in close combat. Narrowing her eyes, with Dong Junqing's spear in front of Huang Mengrui, the dragon phoenix yin yang double spears attacked like a flash of lightning. Zhang Biluo's concealed weapon did not emerge, but she gently hooked her white fingers. The green bird dodged the cold and warm lights that shot out of Dong Junqing's weapon. She had extraordinary speed that, in the blink of an eye, flashed away backwards, staying at a safe range. But to Dong Junqing and Huang Mengrui, this was only when danger began. Zhang Biluo saw that things were more or less spent. This time, she did not hold back. Instantly, the 8 asking directions to the underworld stones shot towards the 2 girls. Each of the concealed weapons shook in the air, the middle not following any logic of space. The concealed weapons were completely not connected. They completely could be regarded as a continuous 7-strike instant attack, but in fact, these concealed weapons were hidden in the air, with only green light filling their lines of sight. Incredible! Dong Junqing was in dire straits, dodging with all her might, but the moment the concealed weapon emerged was like the shape of a wave, sprinkling and variable. 1 stone. 2. 3. The concealed weapons grew increasingly fast, closer and closer, as if they were about to fire right before her eyes, but the master of the concealed weapons seemed to vanish. Not surprising in the least. Dong Junqing and Huang Mengrui were struck to the ground by the 5-star concealed weapons, unable to stand back up. Dark rank concealed weapon, hell has no road. Zhang Biluo appeared and smiled. On the palace of Empress Hua. Yan Yizhen and Ansuan just happened to catch sight of Agile Star Featherless Arrow even dominate a Heavenly Star 5 Tiger. The Earthly Star Heavenly King's magnificent accomplishment was overwhelming, but the maid ignored it. Sister Little E. Ansuan was astonished. A slight curve curled Yan Yizhen's lips. Liked it? Junqing. Mengrui. Seeing the pair be knocked down by Zhang Qing, the faces of Zhao Hanyan and Long Nu changed. Xia Zhenyuan moved swift as wind to stand in front of Ho Ruoyan, blocking several concealed weapons. Princess, Dong Junqing was hugged by Zhao Hanyan. The Ling Yan princess knelt, her face full of tender feelings, which made the Long Nu watching from the side dumbstruck. Quickly return to the star nest. Zhao Hanyan gently said. Damned Zhang Qing. How could Dong Junqing ever be willing to concede defeat? Elder sister truly is passionate, however if you do not leave, Biluo shall dispatch these sisters. Zhang Biluo appeared. The asking directions to the underworld stones flowed with multicolored light as they whirled around her body. They were like the Big Dipper, spinning with a regular pattern. Zhang Qing, you dare be savage in front of this princess. Zhao Hanyan's hand cradled Dong Junqing. The 72 outer void flying immortals' swords simultaneously emerged, spinning about. The beautiful and graceful true immortals of the psychic communication swords emerged, each and every one with a wild aura of intimidation, sharp and unstoppable. Incredible, the Ling Yan princess flying swords surprisingly have already reached the psychic communication realm. Yan Wudao showed an impressed expression. Junqing, there is no need for you to show off. In facing Zhang Qing, just use defense. Zhao Hanyan's slender fingertips lightly brushed Dong Junqing's cheeks, her tender feelings in full bloom. To be able to obtain a Hanyan like this, Junqing can die without regrets. Dong Junqing's face was filled with a smile, her heart somewhat warm. Zhao Hanyan sighed. The Ling Yan princess and she truly are very passionate with one another. Long Nu was bewildered. Huang Mengrui propped herself with much difficulty along with Long Nu's for support. Her whole body hurt enough that her bones seemed shattered. Bastard Zhang Qing. Concealed weapons truly were thoroughly repulsive. Mengrui, you, too. Against Zhang Qing's concealed weapons, forcing things will only produce the opposite result. Long Nu slightly chided. The art of war says, it is hard to avoid a stab in the dark. Zhang Qing was the king of top-notch concealed weapons. Even the chief of the 5 tigers Guan Shen would be powerless here. Against concealed weapons like these, the sole solution was defense. Guard against the enemy's concealed weapons until they were out of strength. Naturally, there would be no victory in battle. In fact, Dong Junqing and Huang Mengrui understood, but the 2 great martial generals working together could only act as people who refused reality. Regardless of whether it was the 5 tigers' great general or the earthly star heavenly king, their honor could not bear it. Are fellows still unwilling to submit? Yan Wudao spoke, his voice absolutely calm. Yan Wudao, watch this magic weapon. Zhao Hanyan bit open her fingertip and suddenly raised her hand. A 2-colored jade bracelet appeared. This jade bracelet flashed with alternating lights of cold and warmth, a multicolored glow. Yin-yang bracelet. Yan Wudao immediately discerned the background of this treasure. The yin-yang bracelet was refined from the quintessence of heavenly yang and earthly yin. Normal flying swords completely could not come close, let alone stop them. In the case the yin-yang bracelet smashed into someone, their spiritual powers would be frantically sucked away. It could be said to be a two-in-one treasure. Never expected the Ling Yan princess to also have this treasure. Yan Wudao leaned backwards. The yin-yang bracelet carried a bracelet shadow as it chased after Yan Wudao. Yan Wudao tried to use his flying swords to stop it. As expected, before the flying sword could even get close, it was stopped by the yin-yang bracelet's yin-yang light. Yan Wudao wrinkled his brow, calm and unhurried. Ordinary magic weapons were ineffective, but star weapons were not the same. 5 asking directions to the underworld stones smashed towards the yin-yang bracelet. The 5-star concealed weapons had a better chance at winning compared to spirit treasures. Under Zhao Hanyan's divine intent, the yin-yang bracelet attempted to evade the concealed weapons, but the asking directions to the underworld stones hid, not a trace to be found. Turning in a circle, she heard clear pounding, which struck down the yin-yang bracelet. When Zhao Hanyan saw there were no results, she was considerably downcast. She lightly bit her lips, retrieving the jade bracelet. "What are you two still waiting for?" Xie Zhenyuan and Long Nu were startled. With tacit understanding, they raised magic weapons in succession. Whether it was a jade short sword, or a clear pearl, 10,000 zhang light rays appeared. But the 5-star concealed weapon honestly was too awesome. Whatever magic weapon was brought out, so long as it was an offensive type, they would entirely be struck down by the concealed weapons. Since you want to die, then the sooner die, the sooner you can reincarnate. Zhang Biluo playfully giggled, her words full of a desire to kill. Agile Star Featherless Arrow emitted countless afterimages that wandered their surroundings. The concealed weapons were like rain, attacking with high speed. Then Wudao shall offend everyone. Yan Wudao smiled. His sleeve shook, and a black compass appeared in his hand. The black light of this compass crisscrossed, giving birth to the sight of a brutish Azura of the 6 paths compass. Zhao Hanyan's tone grew grim. Even the calm and composed Xie Zhenyuan showed astonishment. 6 paths compass. The prehistoric spirit treasure that was ranked 4th most powerful. This treasure could produce the lights of the 6 paths of samsara. Cultivators illuminated by the light would be selected for reincarnation, which was difficult to shake off. However, to use it also signified enormous magic energy. With Yan Wudao's supercluster middle stage cultivation, he would perhaps be withered after using it. But for the sake of thoroughly rooting out the dangers of the palace of Empress Hua, to make the 1,000-year tears his alone, Yan Wudao made his decision. "Hey, Xie Zhenyuan, you are renowned as the Azure Dragon Territory's #1 star master, could it be you do not have any magic weapons? Does the Most High Path not have the magic weapon known as the #1 prehistoric spirit treasure, the Supreme Ultimate Diagram? What about the dual modes ruler, the 3 clarities banner, the 4 symbols seal, the 5 elements ring? Any one of the prehistoric 10 treasures is fine." Legend said that during the prehistoric era, the prehistoric 10 treasures were 10 kinds of spirit treasures that evolved from all living things. These treasures and the prehistoric spirit treasures list were not the same. They all developed their names for the taiji or from a number. The prehistoric spirit treasures list existed because of this. However, with the passage of time and the refinement of cultivators, more and more powerful spirit treasures were born. Because the strength of the prehistoric 10 treasures differed, some would be displaced from the list, like the 6 paths compass that once had been refined by Honored Sir Rebirth. 2. Its might was stronger than at any time prior, and thus, its rank rose to 4th. Everyone in the Azure Dragon Territory knew that the Clear Void Most High Path gathered prehistoric spirit treasures. Practically every one of the Supervoid ancestral masters had one. This kind of spirit treasure, how can the elders arbitrarily confer it to a star master? Xie Zhenyuan shook his head. I do not have a spirit treasure on me. Zhao Hanyan was speechless. Although she knew that Xie Zhenyuan could have been given up on by the Most High Path, she never expected them to have so thoroughly given up, to not have even one spirit treasure. Long Nu was also quite shocked. However, now was already too late to care about these complicated affairs. Yan Wudao flipped out the Six Paths compass. The sole thing that could contend against it was a Star General's star weapon, but having been beaten down by Zhang Biluo, Dong Junqing and Huang Mengrui had no capabilities to resist. To be forced out of the palace of Empress while like this, Zhao Hanyan truly was very unwilling. Now that Yan Wudao was about to use the Six Paths compass, just at this moment, Yan Wudao sensed danger whistling over. Yan Wudao was too late to react. He could only use a flying sword to block, but a maid's punch struck home on his chest. The powerful energy made Yan Wudao flying away. Wudao! Zhang Biluo was astonished. Yan Wudao stopped in midair, his eyebrows raised. He was flabbergasted to see a cold and detached maid in front of him. Yin Yang carps swam in the space around her fists, and both of those fists emitted the lights of Yin and Yang. The newcomer. Skillful star wanderer Yan Qing. Catching sight of Yan Qing, Zhao Hanyan's heart was overjoyed. She surprisingly breathed a sigh of relief, and the Lin Yang princess immediately was startled by her own thoughts. Yan Qing was but Su Xing's star general. In the star duels, how could she have this sort of feeling of relief? Yan Wudao had never thought that there would be more star generals behind the scenes in the palace of Empress Hua. Looking around, he noticed a water-like young girl dressed in a blue and white palace dress. Biluo. How could Yan Wudao dare slight Yan Qing in a confrontation, and he hastily retreated. Zhang Biluo already was fully charged. Spurring her green bird, she dissipated along with the wind, about to emerge in Yan Qing's surroundings at any time. An air-shattering noise continuously sounded. The asking directions to the underworld stones struck towards Yan Yizhen with absolute accuracy. Yan Yizhen's body slightly leaned, one fist in front, one in back, and one beautiful snow-white thigh positioned towards the rear as well in a pantheress attack stance. Little E, careful of the concealed weapons. Zhao Hanyan warned. Little sister seems to want to step into the road to the underworld. Zhang Biluo's fingers nimbly flicked all at the same time. The 8 concealed weapon became 8 streaks of light. Yan Yizhen vanished. What? Zhang Biluo's friendly smile ground to an abrupt halt. Yan Yizhen's figure had moved, and glimpsing only the fluttering of her skirt, the maid had instantly vanished from under the concealed weapons. Such quick body techniques. Zhang Biluo was startled, and she was too late to dodge. Yan Yizhen surprisingly already appeared right under her nose. A disdainful curve hung upon the skillful star's lips, her vermilion eyes retained her never-changing apathy. Furthermore, her fists suddenly burst forth with countless light rays. Yan Yizhen split off into countless shadows, her boxing pounding on Zhang Biluo's whole body like rain. Yellow technique. Swallow flash samsara. Zhang Biluo suffered this head-on. The green bird bucked, flashing with green light. Zhang Biluo immediately flew off, and the green bird replaced its mistress as the target for Yan Yizhen's attack. The Zhang Biluo, who was quite battered, 3, was extremely angered, plum rain. The concealed weapons became a downpour. Yan Yizhen's figure dodged, disappeared again. Zhang Biluo also promptly activated God's Appear Devil Vanish. Agile Star Featherless Arrow felt that as long as she was careful of Yan Qing's Swallow Flash Samsara, the concealed weapons would still be effective, just like with Steadfast Star Dong Junqing and Malignant Star Huang Mengrui. Biluo, look out! Yan Wudao's frightened voice roused Zhang Biluo from her imagination. Zhang Biluo dodged to the side, astonished to find that the maid was already laying in wait in the direction she flew in, as if she had anticipated this. The yin-yang carps frolicked, jumping about like they were in water. The skillful star's whole body blazed with the aura of yin and yang. How can this be? Zhang Biluo was astonished. As expected of the king of concealed weapons, she hastily changed directions. Yan Yizhen moved, unexpectedly catching up once more. Such quick reflexes and reactions. This is the extreme realm. Zhang Biluo's face turned pale. She was too slow. Yan Yizhen indifferently strode forth, already reaching Zhang Biluo's front. Her punches danced wildly. Like a phantom, her figure instantly became haze, disappearing once more. Bursts of hisses resounded in the surrounding air. The dust in the air was rolled layer upon layer by the wind pressure generated from this high-speed movement, blowing away sand and stone. Lingering on Zhang Biluo's body and flying away, the left and right hands pounded without stopping but nevertheless were soundless. Zhang Biluo could only shrink back, relying on a protective astral treasure for defense. A shout broke out. Yan Yizhen's final punch struck down Zhang Biluo. Yan Wudao rushed over, releasing his flying swords. He held the young girl in his embrace, for Zhang Biluo was already at her dying gasps, her eyes half open. Zhang Qing's concealed weapons were very powerful, but close-range combat was their greatest weakness. Return to the star nest. Yan Wudao shouted. Zhang Biluo sniffled, disappearing into the star nest. Everyone lost their voice. Agile Star Featherless Arrow was dispatched under such circumstances. Yan Qing. Yan Wudao's eyes were like ice, manifesting a desire to kill. Yan Yizhen clenched her fist, just about to launch an attack on Yan Wudao. Suddenly, An Suwen let out an astonished shout. She pointed at the statue. Everyone looked and gasped at the same time. From the sculpture of Empress Hua flowed a river of water that sparkled like gems, their rays glinting, wrapped in blue light. Even the deep blue of the sky and seas were unable to compare. The 1,000-year tears of Empress Hua. The current situation was a bit subtly bad. Looking at the jade-bodied Zhang Yuqi laid horizontally on the bed, Su Xing's brow showed intense worry. He took her pulse, gave her acupuncture, administered medicine, spirit medicine, pills, in brief, whatever methods Su Xing could call forth to heal wounds, he completely tested them, but White Stripe in the Waves was unable to awaken. Su Xing could not recall from whose stories, Grimm or Andersen, that Sleeping Beauty originated from. Could it be that he had to use something as terrible as a kiss to awaken her? Why? Zhang Feiyu grabbed her little sister's shoulder, shaking her. Siyou hastily stopped her, so as to avoid shaking Zhang Yuqi apart before she woke up. Little sister. Yuqi. You little foul-footer. Zhang Feiyu's vocals were expressive, shedding silent tears, but that shouting voice made Su Xing feel increasingly awkward. At the sound of another cry, Su Xing interrupted Zhang Feiyu because he was concerned that she would add even more of her terrible anger. It seems something indeed is wrong with that weapon forged with the 9 Nether Devil Star Stone. Su Xing surmised. Nonsense. Zhang Feiyu glared at him. You, quickly help me wake little sister up, otherwise, I will not give Siyou to you. The implicated Siyou's face turned red, both shy and expectant. Why would you involve me? Su Xing rubbed his forehead. Calm down. Calm down, my ass. My little sister is sleeping like an idiot on the bed. Could it be that you cannot see that she currently can be violated at any time? Zhang Feiyu was irritated. Su Xing, Siyou. Milord, it would be better to sign a contract with Zhang Yuqi. Siyou fixed her gaze on Zhang Feiyu. Isn't this a bit like taking advantage of her? Su Xing's heart very much wanted to sign a contract with this blowjob girl, but seeing that elder sister nearly about to storm away, he still had to courteously ask. Taking advantage of her, you sissy, are you still that concerned right now? You must sign a contract with Yuqi. If you don't, I'll bleep you. Zhang Feiyu did not care that much at all. She actually was very willing to offer up her own little sister. The reason was very simple. By doing so, they could avoid future sister-internecine strife, let alone that her own contractor was very fond of Su Xing. This was precisely a match made in heaven. There was no choice of star master that was more perfect. If it was any other man, to think of touching her little sister, Zhang Feiyu would have already cut them to pieces first. Su Xing also knew that he could not let go of this mermaid. He had grown used to that blowjob that hung off her lips and that figure in water. Looking at Zhang Yuqi's pale complexion, his heart was uncomfortable. Nodding, Su Xing was no longer reserved. Zhang Feiyu looked down on him, as if this is your first time. Su Xing concentrated on Zhang Yuqi. Several groans occasionally broke free of the girl's lips, seemingly pained. According to Zhang Yuqi's current state, she should be incomparably debilitated. According to the formalities of Liangshan Continent's Star Dual Covenant, so long as one wished to be a star master, she could be contracted. Su Xing lowered his head and kissed her lips. This made the girl's groan that was thin as a reed enter his own throat. In that moment, Su Xing forgot about the contract, but his heart was wholly on his wish to alleviate Zhang Yuqi's pain. This kiss seemed to be like a miracle cure. Zhang Yuqi's groans slowly subsided. Su Xing began to dominate the girl's lips. His tongue hooked in her warm and supple tongue. It was most probable that there was no one else in this world who could be more experienced in hot kisses with star maidens than Su Xing. Water illusion fairy Siyou and boatman Zhang Feiyu and even Hunyangzi stared dumbstruck. That was an extremely inseparable. Their passionate kiss made them unable to help but feel their hearts beat faster. Siyou's face was envious. She truly wanted herself to become the partner for Su Xing's deep kiss. To kiss my sister. Zhang Feiyu gasped. She shrieked, for her little sister had been defiled. Siyou stopped her, shaking her head. Zhang Feiyu bit her chapped lips, feeling sick to her stomach. The kiss ended. Su Xing panted. Zhang Yuqi's lips were seriously outstanding, manifesting the tenderness of water, the mildness of ice. He nearly was unable to stop. Su Xing rubbed his forehead. What's happened? Is little sister better? Zhang Feiyu hastily stepped forward. Zhang Yuqi's complexion was somewhat better. Of course, she could not rule out that this bastard's kiss made her little sister's face turn red from lack of air. But Zhang Yuqi still did not wake up. What is going on? Why has she still not awakened? Zhang Feiyu truly was panicky. Dear husband. Hunyangzi felt confused. Did you not sign a contract? Siyou's eyes were wide. Su Xing gravely nodded his head. Following the logic of the kiss contract, there should have been no problem. When he kissed Zhang Yuqi just now, what Su Xing thought about in his mind was not the star duels, only the hope he could allow the girl to rally. According to the conditions of the kiss contract, they should have fulfilled it. Su Xing's heart had an ill feeling of foreboding, so he flipped out the birth treasure outline. Golden light glowed. Zhang Yuqi's data materialized. Everyone looked, and they were all stunned. In current status, there was a phrase, soul has been lost, cannot be conquered, soul has been lost. This never before heard of status made everyone confused. Just what the hell is that 9 nether devil star stone? Why are things like this? Zhang Feiyu's expression flowed with an angry bewilderment. Su Xing's answer, he was unable to answer. He had no idea what this thing was. Pertaining to the 9 nether devil star stone, other than already knowing this was a devil stone of Star World and that it could be forged into a star maiden's star weapon, there was no more information. Dear husband, what do we do now? Hunyangzi wrinkled her brows. Damn it, I will go kill Guaning right now. Zhang Feiyu's anger exploded. Don't make trouble. Su Xing shouted to stop her. Do you still want to add on to our problems? Zhang Feiyu had just thought to hit back when she suddenly noticed that the brow of the man in front of her was tightly wrinkled. That concern was not an appearance at all, rather unease that came from his heart. This kind of worry made Su Xing loathe all kinds of screaming. In light of the face for you stealing little sister's first kiss, I shall not argue with you, Zhang Feiyu thought, but she immediately felt this reason was honestly ridiculous. Silence. A long silence. We have to first go clearly grasp what the 9 Nether Devil Star Stone is before we can remedy it. Su Xing lifted his head. Are you going to the Devil Star Palace? Siyou was even more worried. Not for the time being. Right now, I'm going to find a person I know. She has the highest quality information in Liangshan continent. I'm confident she will know the reason. Su Xing said. Who is so incredible? Siyou said in astonishment. Noble star little whirlwind Chai Ling. Su Xing spat. Huh. All of the girls were shaken. They looked at Su Xing, those expressions uniformly saying, impossible, you even have a friendship with the Queen Noble Star placed outside of the star duels. Inside the palace of Empress Hua. The 1,000-year tears of Empress Hua flowed out, interrupting Yan Yizhen's killing stroke on agile star featherless arrow Zhang Biluo. Zhao Hanyan, Xie Zhenyuan, and Long Nu did not hesitate at all to release every kind of magic weapon to gather the 1,000-year tears of Empress Hua. The crystalline river that was like a dragon spitting out pearls flowed directly into every sort of magic weapon. The group exhausted their greatest strength to gather just a few more of the 1,000-year tears. The 1,000-year tears of Empress Hua could not be directly used at all. Rather, it needed to undergo a cultivator's refining, to refine these teardrops true 1,000-year tears of Empress Hua. However, this process was extremely difficult. Sometimes, a tone of tears could fail, thus, the group strove to gather as much as possible. And the 1,000-year tears of Empress Hua also indicated the closing of the palace of Empress Hua. Yan Wudao could only put away his baleful aura. After all, he had come to the palace of Empress Hua for the sake of the 1,000-year tears. The one air bottle he had just obtained and undergone a simple divine intent installation was perfect to use. The current situation had become considerably interesting. Zhao Hanyan, Long Nu, and Yan Wudao's star generals were powerless to continue battle, yet on the contrary, Xie Zhenyuan's star general Ho Ruoyan that had been called trash was still capable of fighting. If her heavenly silkworm treasure silk and backlighting divine needle were to actually meddle with them, it would be as easy as turning over her hand. Xie Zhenyuan might as well did not have this plan. His star general was simply adorable, merely guarding by his side. The golden needles and treasure silk wove together as she nervously eyed Yan Yizhen. Originally, star masters should have been obstructing their counterparts from obtaining the 1,000-year tears. A life or death situation surprisingly did not appear, which truly made people flabbergasted. And Suan also released an astral treasure. Yan Yizhen was expressionless. She did not care about Ho Ruoyan at all, but she would not let go of Yan Wudao. The girl's figure moved. Yan Wudao released his rebirth flying swords. Fellows, with Yan Qing here, are you all still indifferent? Long Nu and Xie Zhenyuan thought that what he said had some logic, so they each released flying swords to attack Yan Yizhen. Even Little E could only evade and evade again in the face of the 3 great supercluster middle stage cultivators' flying swords, which were difficult to break free from. Go! When Yan Wudao saw the quiet and somewhat incapable of harm in Suan, he noticed that he had apparently seen her somewhere before, but he could not recall. He merely treated her as Yan Qing's star master. A beam of black light flashed, and a black blade attacked Suan. And Suan blinked. The humane healer efficacious star showed surprise, but then a green storm suddenly flew out. It surrounded the black blade, and then the spiritual power in that black blade suddenly died out completely, becoming scrap iron. Essence swallowing dragons. Everyone was shaken beyond compare. No one had expected that gentle young girl would surprisingly be the most dangerous. Go! Long Nu promptly released the Night Pearl. There were rays of light reaching 10,000 zhang, which blocked the essence-swallowing dragons. Xie Zhenyuan and Yan Wudao did not dare be careless, controlling the flying swords at the same time they contested. Ling Yan Princess, why do you still not act? Yan Wudao was expressionless. He noticed that Zhao Hanyan surprisingly was unconcerned, a calm and composed appearance. Even the steadfast star had an attitude of not wanting to care. Yan Qing also has essence-swallowing dragons, very dangerous. Yan Wudao reminded about the severity of the situation. Mengrui. Long Nu said. Guardian of Three Mountains Huang Mengrui ingested a pill and lifted her flying waterfall dragon cry sword to attack Ansuan. Since Yan Wudao wishes to make this princess take action, then she shall. Zhao Hanyan mockingly said. The Ling Yan princess nearly wanted to call out that they were the women of this princess man. Why would this princess make a move against them? Yan Wudao only felt Zhao Hanyan's words were very fishy, but he did not know what part was wrong. Even if Yan Wudao was bright enough, he would never have thought that Ansuan and Yan Yizhen were invited by Zhao Hanyan. Zhao Hanyan controlled the 72 outer void flying immortal swords. The corner of her lips curled into a sneer, for she was about to first kill Yan Wudao. At this time, they suddenly saw a golden light charge over like a shooting star. The essence-swallowing dragons were knocked into a disordered heap. Ansuan could only recall her astral treasure and retreat. That starlight was very powerful. It easily severed the connection of Zhao Hanyan and others had while collecting the 1,000-year tears. The leftover power surprisingly jolted each of them several dozen steps back. Everyone was frightened. Star Masters, you have signed Star Duel covenants. It's too illegal for you to also take something like the 1,000-year tears. Terribly sorry, but today, Shower will be taking them. The golden light receded, and in the sky appeared a mighty woman straddling a golden Qilin. Her hand held a golden lance, and though her bearing was dignified, it did not lose any charm. At those seemingly smiling eyes, anyone would have knowingly smiled back upon seeing them. Except that no one present was able to smile. Imagine that at the moment each of their star generals totally returned to their respective star nests, Maiden Mountain's strongest martial force Maiden would take center stage. Any star master would be dejected enough to be driven mad. Jade Qilin Lu Xiao has seen all of you ladies and gentlemen. Lu Xiao's smile was sweet. With Lu Junyi in front, Yan Qing behind, Yan Wudao and the others only felt that this trip to the palace of Empress Hua honestly was irregular. What was even more irregular was that in the previous internal conflict, both sides had suffered losses. Now, it was difficult to say if they had the qualifications for another battle. This truly was in both name and reality a situation where the fisherman got both the snipe and the clam. Dark technique, flowing water does not rot. Huang Mengrui changed her attack direction without the slightest hesitation. Relying on her crystal pill to finally use her dark rank technique, the flying waterfall dragon cry sword chi suddenly expanded 100-fold. A dragon's cry rang out, and the water light rippled. A heavenly river seemed to hang below the sword, transforming into an eddy that filled Lu Xiao's line of sight. Lu Xiao's face wore a slight smile. The star unicorn dragon horse's golden light glinted. The golden Qilin lance shuddered, releasing a spear light. Immediately afterwards, the star unicorn brought Lu Xiao into a charge, its speed extremely swift. The power had instantly increased to the limit. Clang clang. Worthy of one named an earthly star for heavenly king, Huang Mengrui unexpectedly blocked Lu Xiao's charge. Even the Jade Qilin herself was considerably surprised. Constant activity prevents decay. Huang Mengrui shouted. The countless whirlpools in the air seemed to pounce like locusts towards Lu Xiao. Countless splashes exploded. A heavy rain poured down in the palace of Empress Hua. The golden Qilin broke out of the rain. The Qilin's imposing aura burst out of the downpour. Malignant star Huang Mengrui held her sword, and her figure suddenly stopped. The water swords quickly slashed, and the countless sword chi shattered every place the rain fell upon. The Qilin reared onto its hind legs, immediately releasing an arrow from a zhang away. The sword chi crisscrossed where Lu Xiao was standing originally, exploded, bursting out with a boiling splash. Lu Xiao smiled, and the golden Qilin lance fell. Huang Mengrui used all her strength to resist, attempting to search for the perfect opportunity while she evaded. Lu Xiao took back her lance. Suddenly, a gap appeared. Without the slightest hesitation, she seized her chance. Huang Mengrue's sword qi continuously emitted, instantly pouncing up. The Lu Junyi that was strongest in martial force showed a gap. That signified the battle should have ended. She was caught in the trap. Just before the tip of Huang Mengrue's sword got close, she was amazed to discover that seemingly subtle gap at Lu Junyi's hand suddenly turned from rotten to amazing. Golden light changed directions and pierced through from unexpected angles with inconceivable speed. "Little sister, rest for now." Lu Xiao appeared behind her, calmly asserting. Huang Mengrue groaned and was already run through by the lance. Long Nu's head sunk. Lu Xiao glanced at the others. Junqing. Zhao Hanyan did not dare slight her. Although Dong Junqing was exhausted, she knew that she needed to take action to buy Zhao Hanyan time. "Lu Junyi, have some proper sex with your servant." Dong Junqing raised her double spears and attacked. Lu Xiao blinked. But the already completely exhausted Dong Junqing could hardly stop the fully domineering Jade Qilin of soaring morale. After several exchanges, Dong Junqing was killed back into the star nest. Countless flying swords shrieked out. The golden Qilin bellowed, arbitrarily swaying among the flying swords. It went to and fro like the wind, and all of a sudden, Lu Xiao's figure flashed away. Not good. The group was greatly surprised. Lu Xiao descended in front of them. The lance rose and fell, sending the tenacious Ho Ruolian back for a nap in the star nest. Xie Zhenyuan's complexion changed, but he slightly blocked and then escaped. To face the 4-star strength star, who would have the courage to dare allow her to get so close? "First," Lu Xiao said, her lance coming again. Long Nu's flying swords were broken, but she was unwilling to concede defeat. At once, she shook her sleeve without saying a word. Suddenly, there was a clear cry. Several dozen watery flying swords swam out from her sleeves like fishes, transforming into a qi-long swordlight that revolved indeterminately in front of her body. Immediately, Long Nu's hand seals activated, as she soared into the sky and gently pointed. All of the sword lights shuddered, the water lights glowed, and in the next instant, they became several hundred unique sword lights. Slightly fluttering, the golden sword qi practically filled half the sky. Appearing like glorious waves, the power was astonishing to the extreme. For the sake of fighting for time to collect the 1,000-year tears, Long Nu could only activate her spirit treasure, Mountain River Sword. 2. Lu Xiao put herself into a charge. The Jade Qilin shook apart the Mountain River Sword. Her blade's tip directly hooked Long Nu's abdomen. If it could be said, Lu Xiao did not mind killing a star master before the 4th phase ended. Although this meant she could not see the peak of her strength. The Mountain River Sword shattered, and Long Nu had no choice but to retreat. Second, Lu Xiao again eyed Yan Wudao. Yan Wudao used the 9 turns escape technique in an attempt to confuse Lu Junqi, to similarly fight for time to collect the 1,000-year tears. Lu Xiao smiled, feeling this man was very interesting. Acting without any mercy, the Jade Qilin's figure disappeared and then reappeared. Already, the matchless 9th stage Jade Qilin was playing hide and seek in front of him, honestly having brought about his own doom, let alone there was still the golden Qilin she rode upon. Yan Wudao was the 3rd to leave the palace of Empress Hua. "Princess Ling Yan, could it be you do not wish to gracefully leave?" Lu Xiao stopped her dazzling attacks. She remounted the golden Qilin, giving Zhao Hanyan a slightly friendly smile. This princess wishes to gracefully socialize with the legendary Jade Qilin. Zhao Hanyan smiled. The golden Qilin became a bolt of golden light that immediately charged over. The 72 outer void flying immortals' swords could not be underestimated. Lu Xiao's figure flashed, leaving from the Qilin's back and instantly passing the flying sword's encirclement. Her lance directly stabbed at Zhao Hanyan's chest. Princess Ling Yan's expression sunk, just so happening to hesitate about whether to escape or not. Suddenly, a ray of yin-yang light came in front of her, blocking, surprisingly shaking off Jade Qilin Lu Xiao. The maid indifferently appeared. In regards to Yan Yizhen's aid, Zhao Hanyan also felt surprised. Yan Yizhen and Suan, you have also come. Where is Su Xing? Lu Xiao looked at the surroundings but did not spot Su Xing's figure at all. Curious, she said, could it be he has not come? Elder sister Shower, I trust you have been well since last we met. And Suan tenderly said. Sorry, little sister Suan. As expected, there is no way we can have something like compassion in the star duels. Lu Xiao helplessly smiled. Speaking of which, your young master has contracted so many sisters. This is already very rule-breaking, and to also have the 1,000-year tears actually is very greedy. Big brother has had difficulties. And Suan said. Lu Xiao shook her head, smiled. If Shower was to always throw her contests, the star duels would lose their significance. It would be better to. In that instant, Lu Xiao's expression emitted a dangerously excited light. It would be better to fight right here. And Suan forced a smile. Yan Yizhen was cold and detached. The yin-yang carps flowed around her fists. The maid's imposing aura surged into the clouds. The golden Qilin stepped on air, its presence concentrated into a point. The troubling imposing aura made even Zhao Hanyan feel stifled. Looking at those gorgeous yin-yang carps, a light flashed past Lu Xiao's pupils. The wind stopped at the main hall. Sensing this heavy atmosphere, Zhao Hanyan could not help but stow away her magic treasure that collected the 1,000-year tears. The 72 outer void flying immortal swords moved restlessly. Bang! A thunderclap leveled the ground. Lu Xiao spurred her Qilin wildly, little E, take this. The Mount Tai-sized figure was pressing, the golden Qilin lance raised. Afterwards, something dazzling as the 5 mountains fell. Yin-yang palm. Yan Yizhen's palms boomed forth, like blades of yin and yang. Suddenly, Lu Xiao disappeared from the Qilin's back. Yan Yizhen was too late to think any further. The yin-yang palm struck the star unicorn dragon horse. The star beast's might could not be outdone. Even if she was at the extreme realm, the 4-star destined weapon Yan Yizhen could feel slightly taxed. The maid increased her effort. Suddenly, she sent Lu Junyi's star beast flying. The maid turned her head back. Lu Xiao was already falling in front of Zhao Hanyan. Her objective was not Yan Yizhen at all. The golden Qilin lance slashed with a ray of golden light, directly launching towards Zhao Hanyan. Strength star Jade Qilin's smooth and flowing attack made Zhao Hanyan very surprised. Fortunately, her flying sword psychically returned to her side in time, but immediately afterwards, the 4-star lance directly broke the flying sword defenses. Zhao Hanyan knew the Jade Qilin was forcing her to leave. Without a star general's protection, how could Zhao Hanyan persist? With an unresigned grunt, she used the jade pendant to escape. The 4th. Lu Xiao turned her head around, pointing her lance at Yan Yizhen. Now, no one will bother us, little E. Keep me company. Before she had finished speaking, Yan Yizhen had already made her attack preparations. Her leg moved, and her figure vanished. With her 5 fingers like blades, the yin-yang carps of her gloves made Shower both delighted and resentful. Bang! A terrible sound, and a large amount of blood was shipped into the sky. Lu Xiao's figure already shot far away like a shooting star. In just that split second, Yan Yizhen forcibly stepped across the several zhang of space between them, her speed quick as a demon. Before Lu Xiao could even react, skillful star wanderer Yan Qing already attacked with a chop. Her frightening strength instantly erupted, and Lu Xiao's body could not help but fly away. The palace of Empress was sculptures that were in the way shattered, for this momentum was astonishing. Lu Xiao rose from the ashes, her attitude was still full of a cruel and unruly arrogance. Extreme realm, truly a formidable realm. Lu Xiao patted off the dust, as if the blood that sprayed from her wounds was fake. Yan Yizhen was expressionless, not baffled how Lu Xiao could downplay this. She vanished and reappeared in front of Lu Xiao. Lu Xiao's body hung in the air. Gentle golden light already appeared from her body, quickly forming a barrier, helping her resist the power of this blow. But it appeared that Yan Yizhen's action did not relent in the slightest. Of course, confronting the strength star ranked first in martial force was suicidal behavior. Boom! A large amount of earth and stone burst into the sky, unexpectedly reaching a height of more than several zhang. The nearby air showed a shockwave visible to the naked eye. Golden light rays filled the sky and fluttered, and an enormous hole appeared in the middle of the palace of Empress Hua. The terrifying strength and frightening destructive power made Suwen watch with great fear and trepidation. But Lu Xiao already sat on her star unicorn dragon horse, her appearance considerably beautiful. The yin-yang carps can promote all aspects of a star general's realm and star weapon, but there is an enormous flaw. Lu Xiao wiped away the blood at the corner of her mouth, her smile not extinguished. Yan Yizhen calmly listened to her big talk. And that is, Lu Xiao smiled. Before she finished speaking, she already charged forth. A chilly astral wind made the air cut to ribbons. Hey! Yan Yizhen's fists went to block. The golden Qilin lance and the yin-yang Pisces punch made their first exchange. Her fist immediately went numb. Yan Yizhen's body sunk, nearly falling to a knee. Yan Yizhen had the yin-yang carps bolstering her status to increase her capabilities, but Lu Xiao also similarly had the assistance of her star beast. By doing so, she was not at a disadvantage, let alone that Lu Xiao's realm already reached matchless 9th stage's peak, no more than a step from the extreme realm. Add on her top-notch martial force and 4-star destined weapon, this absolutely was an opponent that Yan Yizhen even felt was thorny. With thundering hoofbeats, there was the sound of a thunderclap in the wind. The golden Qilin fully displayed a holy beast's absolute might. Pop! There was a muffled sound. The golden Qilin roared, and Yan Yizhen's fist punched through like a cannonball. Then, the maid did not stop at all. Her figure nimbly turned around, and by the means of the strength of her blow, she spun where she was. Her other fist already brought a severe sound of wind and once again attacked the star unicorn dragon horse. With a chilly light glinting in her eyes, her movements brimmed with a severe qi. Its figure instantly spread out. The star unicorn dragon horse's golden light flooded out, and its pace became even sharper, dodging Yan Yizhen's attack. They came and went rapidly in the hall. The star unicorn dragon horse spat out a ring of golden light hooked to another ring. The Lu Xiao on the Qilin was raising her lance for the right opportunity to move. The lance's shadows became layered. The attack of the Lu Xiao on the Qilin's back not only became even more vast, its power was also extreme. Yan Yizhen leaned to dodge past Lu Xiao's lance, keeping close to the star unicorn dragon horse's side. Her left arm waved out a fist, leaving behind an afterimage. The yin-yang carps followed their mistress' thoughts and began to exert power. This power seemed to be connected, shooting a flame-like warm light, like a spear piercing the star beast's scales. The star unicorn dragon horse suddenly was struck by the punch. Its footsteps stumbled backwards. With an easy turn, Lu Xiao flipped her hand and stabbed with the lance, forcing Yan Yizhen away. Suddenly exerting force to her legs, Yan Yizhen's figure once again accelerated even more. Her figure practically was stuck along the ground, drawing a beautiful trajectory. When she spun around, her right fist abruptly struck the ground, borrowing the force to instantly close the attack distance. Her boxing was like rain, a flurry, the movements linked yet fierce. Those cold and detached pupils glinted with the radiance of the yin-yang carps. Ice-cold light exploded out. With such a sharp attack, Yan Yizhen's moves were dazzling, making Lu Xiao nearly unable to keep up. She seriously made the strength star give her a whole new level of respect. Little E, impressive. Lu Xiao shouted. Her golden Qilin lance shuddered. The lance immediately shot out several shooting stars. These shooting stars were apparently killing intent yet not, as if they had their own intelligence, just like a sharp sword automatically escaping Yanizhan's entanglement. The lance's light fell from the heavens, and at nearly the moment it descended, it became a Qilin shape, hissing in attack. Yellow rank technique. Qilin fall sky flash. It was already too late for Yanizhan to retreat at this time. The skillful star met it head-on, her attack not inferior to Lu Xiao's. The golden light and blue light's boxing technique dominated in one move, unexpectedly seemingly never stopping. Her footsteps were even more unusually incomparable, continuously launching yet connected. Combined with her practically non-stop punches, she unexpectedly caught the sky flash. A sharp power flashed past Lu Xiao's pupils, and she seized her chance. All of a sudden, the girl's figure moved. Her entire body left the Qilin, instantly leaping off. The golden Qilin lance stabbed out with an abundance of power. The Strength Star's star beast seized the chance to display even more power. Yanizhan single-handedly charged in, her fists forging ahead. And Suwen was choked to speechlessness upon seeing this scene. Bang! The palace of Empress Hua let out an enormous noise, seemingly stopping at this moment. A mournful wail. Lu Xiao's star beast was slain. At the same time, Yanizhan withdrew 100 steps, blood leaking from the gaps between her fingers and dripping onto the ground. Sister Little E. And Suwen cried out and stepped forward. She noticed that Yanizhan had not sustained too great an injury at all, but Yanizhan's power was oddly plummeting. And Suwen suddenly discovered that one of the yin-yang carps swimming along Yanizhan's hands had already disappeared. Lu Xiao wore an easy grin. She finished what she originally only left half said. The yin-yang carp's greatest flaw is that it is too weak, so very easily killed. That was correct. If the yin-yang carp was killed, she would lose them, and Yanizhan's status would naturally drop. After all, the yin-yang carp was a star beast. So long as they were a star beast, they were not possibly an exception. Yanizhan was expressionless, having no assessment of her words at all. She gazed at the cold yin carp on her left hand. Those cold pupils showed tenderness. She shook her head slightly at Suwen, hinting to her there was no need to worry. Then, flinging her hand, the yin carp also disappeared. Do both little sisters accept Xiao's opinion? Lu Xiao calmly began to gather the 1,000-year tears. The astral treasure she raised was a curved horn. Softly blowing, she sucked in more than 100 tears. How could Yanizhan concede defeat? And Suwen tugged at her, shaking her head. Strength star Lu Junyi honestly was too powerful. The Yanizhan that was without the yin-yang carps could not possibly continue battling Lu Junyi. But your servant will not accept. A thoughtful voice suddenly answered. And Suwen and Yanizhan were startled, but Lu Xiao apparently was not surprised at all. The corner of her lips wore a smile, and she glanced out the side of her eyes. A white tiger appeared in the palace of Empress Hua. The woman on the white tiger had an absolute beauty that made people feel stifled. The words of this apparently ice-cold goddess summed up who she was. Her long hair seemed to flow like a waterfall past her butt, and her impressive curves were fully displayed. If one was a man, even an abnormal man would indulge in fantasies. Elder Sister Siyou. And Suwen shouted in pleasant surprise. The beautiful woman's legs stepped on the palace of Empress was rippling water. Wu Siyou dismounted the white and black unicorn tiger. Siyou, it truly has been a long time since we last met. Lu Xiao said. She was not surprised that Wu Siyou would appear. The pilgrim possessed the pilgrim's array innate skill. The inescapable great array outside the palace of Empress Hua was nothing in the eyes of Wu Siyou. Xiao cherishes the time we first worked together very much. Lu Xiao's smile was warm. Wu Siyou also made a rare smile. Lu Xiao, are you truly planning to obstruct Lord Husband? Originally you were even itching to kill Su Xing. Now, you actually address him as Lord Husband. Truly, though things have remained the same, people have changed. Lu Xiao sighed with sorrow. Your servant will not let you do this. Wu Siyou did not care that she had changed. Hey, little sister Siyou, is that man truly so good? That even you would be moved. Lu Xiao blinked, curiously speaking. Shower, why do you not go learn about Lord Husband yourself? Noble Frost demonic lotus already appeared in Wu Siyou's hand, her murderous aura slowly encircling her fingertips. Shower certainly will go look for understanding. Lu Xiao did not hide her thoughts one bit. Then what now? Wu Siyou lowered her head and softly spoke. A breakdown in negotiations, naturally. Lu Xiao raised her lance, her powerful attack suddenly filling the room. Tang Lianxin sat on a ley line. The great sun essence flame butterfly was behind her, its wings blazing with orange fire. The famous Zhen Wu divine iron hovered in front of Tang Lianxin. Following Tang Lianxin's great void golden lotus becoming an essence fire divine weapon that held up the Zhen Wu divine iron, Tang Lianxin continuously poured in star energy. Each time the great sun essence flame butterfly's wings were brightly lit, that signified the girl using full power. Her entire stone face slowly began to change. Slowly, the Zhen Wu divine iron gradually melted. The great void golden lotus then became a crucible that she placed the melted iron into. After a while, the entire piece of Zhen Wu divine iron finally was completely melted. She repeated the course of events several dozen times. In the end, the Zhen Wu divine iron finally completed refinement into material usable in forging a divine weapon. After the final piece of Zhen Wu divine iron was completed, Tang Lianxin let out a breath. The great sun essence flame butterfly let out a butterfly that perched on Tang Lianxin's shoulder. Seeing that she had helped her elder brother refine the Zhen Wu divine iron, Tang Lianxin's heart had a certain satisfaction, and a rare smile appeared on her lips. She put away the Zhen Wu divine iron and was just about to leave when her divine intent suddenly moved. Su Xing had returned. Liked it? Su Xing used the jade pendant to teleport back from the Black Turtle territory to the Azure Dragon-linked Four Styles School's Immortal's abode. The water illusion fairy Siyou and Zhang Feiyu who came along felt extremely fresh. The Liangshan jade pendant could create 3 Immortal's abodes, teleport over 10,000 li, but it was very rare for a Star Master to actually use it. Every frantic escape in the star duels was a possibility to live on, extremely previous. Who would be willing to keep opening Immortal's abodes? Zhang Feiyu said, Su Xing, you're too extravagant, you truly do not plan things. I can't be at ease handing my little sister to you. Su Xing rolled his eyes at her, the Immortal's abode can offer a precious item, why wouldn't I open another one, let alone that one chance to flee is enough. No wonder. The vast majority of Star Masters were Heavenly Spirit Outlaw Jade pendants. The treasures from opening an Immortal's abode could not compare with those from the Purple Star level. The space in the Immortal's abode flashed. Tang Lianxin walked out, her expression slightly joyous. Lianxin. Has elder brother come to take the Zhen Wu divine iron? Lianxin has already finished refining them. The 12 bright cases appeared in the air. Su Xing took them into his astral bag in passing. Currently, Zhang Yuqi's status far surpassed the Zhen Wu divine iron. Elder brother, what is the matter? Tang Lianxin thought that her refinement of the Zhen Wu divine iron had a problem. Something has happened to Yuqi. I'm preparing to go find Chai Ling. Su Xing smiled and explained. Tang Lianxin glanced at the girl against Zhang Feiyu's chest, somewhat confused yet only nodding slightly, not saying anything. Su Xing introduced everyone. Although they were prepared, to find out she was the earthly solitary star was still considerably surprising. Zhen Wu divine iron. For Milord to have even something like this, Siyou wonders what you are doing. Siyou curiously said. This is all thanks to Yuqi. Su Xing said. There's no time to lose, we're going to find that noble star right now. Zhang Feiyu was stern. All right. Su Xing's group could not delay. The progression of events at the palace of Empress Hua was already nearing a crisis. Sparks showered everywhere, a fervor permeating the entire area. The ringing sounds of clashing iron, noble frost demonic lotus and the golden Qilin lance instantly passed through more than 100 exchanges in the blink of an eye. After following Su Xing, Xiao wonders how little sister's martial arts are right now. Lu Xiao already arrived above Wu Xiu's head when she was switching to defense. The lance did not hesitate in the slightest to slash downwards. Wu Xiu spun around in passing, the noble frost demonic lotus in her hand drawing out a jet-black sword light carrying snow. Again, she blocked Lu Xiao's lance. For star. Lu Xiao's eyes glinted. As expected of the successor of last generation's overlord. The distance between their previous encounter in the Buddha kingdom was no more than a month, yet in this short time, the 3-star destined weapon had already ascended to 4-star. Siyou, Xiao truly wants to work together with you to ascend. Then sign a contract with Su Xing. Wu Xiu answered. Could it be you truly are prepared to sign a contract with him? Lu Xiao smiled. Wu Xiu was silent. Jade Qilin's body was delicate, like a butterfly. Each and every time, she made evasive maneuvers that were unimaginable. Each step, each movement of her wrist was like a butterfly flapping its wings. The gentle flaps raised a domain within the storm of her attacks. The golden Qilin lance glittered with a dazzling slash. Jade Qilin was collectively recognized as the head of martial force among Maiden Mountain's 108 generals. However, this martial force could be better described as evenly matched. In a close-quarters battle, Harm Star Pilgrim Wusong also was an expert. The pair tyrannically battled incomparably, making Xing'er incapable of interfering. Bang! A sword light blew out from the noble frost demonic lotus tip. Lu Xiao sidestepped, the sword qi grazing past her body. Wu Xiu's cold eyes caught the path of Lu Xiao's evasion. Noble frost demonic lotus spun and stabbed. The sword qi eerily turned and sprayed out, just like a cyclone, sweeping a vacuum into the air. Lu Xiao's lance retracted, striking apart the sword qi in an attack not to be outdone, but Wu Xiu's true attack only began now. Without any more superfluous maneuvers, Wu Xiu's double-headed noble frost demonic lotus split in her hands, becoming the double swords noble frost and demonic lotus. One was cool as frost, the other astonishing as ink, following her in close quarters. Hey! Wu Xiu's swords crossed. Due to the energy, a hole was ripped into the air. Lu Xiao's breathing stopped. The golden Qilin lance blocked horizontally, making the sword tip brush past her cheek, drawing a line of blood. The other sword swung down the other way at the same time, stabbing towards Lu Xiao's thigh. Time simply was unable to reflect the speed. Lu Xiao swayed. This gap arrived before Wu Xiu's eyes, and with a kick, she stepped onto Wu Xiu's knee, and then, she stepped onto her shoulder. That slender thigh was like a drill, an enormous penetrative force immediately pushing Wu Xiu practically to her knees. Jade Qilin was not to be outdone. Her hands gripped the lance and stabbed downwards. If it was any other star general, Lu Xiao's graceful attack would have ended things, but Wu Xiu was well versed in these things. Her shoulders shrugged, almost mountain-like, and a powerful killing intent burst forth. Immediately, Lu Xiao was shaken off. The ground was turned to dust by the lance. Lu Xiao held the shaft, landing light as a feather. Siyou, do you not wish to collect the 1,000-year tears? Could it be you have come to the palace of Empress Hua only for the sake of obstructing shower? Lu Xiao smiled and asked. The light of the azure 1,000-year tears already was beginning to fade. The palace of Empress Hua was on the verge of fading away. Wu Xiu was unfazed. Then, Lu Xiao, are you prepared to stop? Apologies, no can do. Lu Xiao smiled. She vanished. Lu Xiao gently strode forward, her figure astonishingly disappearing. Even Wu Xiu was unable to catch on to a trace of Lu Xiao. Xing'er stood guard of Ansuan's surroundings. Suddenly, a gale roared. A gale from who knows where blew directly in Wu Xiou's face. Her long hair and the hem of her clothes gently fluttered in the storm. The harm star was unmoved, practically a statue, looking at this storm as if it was nothing. "Siyou, take this." Bang! An intense explosion. Lu Xiao appeared in front of her. The double swords crossed, blocking in succession. Wu Xiou's speedy reactions left even Lu Xiao feeling danger. But how could Lu Xiao's attack be so simple? A golden light brushed past space. When Wu Xiou received the attack, the power suddenly toppled mountains and overturned the seas. Wu Xiou was expressionless. A light flashed past her starry eyes. The noble frost and demonic lotus double swords surprisingly shook out of her palms by this explosive power. The four-star weapons drew a graceful curve in the air, sticking into the idol of Empress Hua. The skin of her hands split, and blood gushed forth. Dark rank technique. Cavalry breaks apart 1,000 militaries. The double swords flew off, leaving Wu Xiou wide open. Unarmed and defenseless, she faced towards Lu Xiao. At this time, Lu Xiao's dark rank cavalry breaks apart 1,000 militaries manifested. The lance pierced through a thin line, stabbing with perfect accuracy towards Wu Xiou's chest. This thrust practically put Wu Xiou in a situation where she sat and awaited her death. Elder sister Siyou. And Suwen turned pale from fright. She wanted to use mind-stealing smoke and rain, but this time was already too late. Lu Xiao's eyeballs glanced. She considered giving up on stabbing Wu Xiou's heart, but when she saw the pilgrim's completely fearless smile, Jade Qilin suddenly felt danger. The corner of Wu Xiou's mouth slightly curled. Suddenly, her body techniques changed, walking with mysterious footwork. Inevitable death had surprisingly been amazingly avoided. The lance penetrated Wu Xiou's shoulder, but this was not at all able to stop the harm star's absolute counterattack. When Wu Xiou made her move, she seemed to have a mandarin duck's crest on her head, and her feet seemed to have the tuft of tail of a mandarin duck. At the same time, her legs and feet made circles. The four circles combined from top to bottom, and the left and right swapped into a mating pair, just like inseparable mandarin ducks. Jade ring steps, mandarin duck legs. 2. Lu Xiao showed a bitter smile. This was bad. Pilgrim Wusong had no need for a star weapon to be able to contend against a star general as a powerful opponent. The already close by Lu Xiao completely was too late to dodge. Wu Xiou's slender curves suddenly unfolded. That instant of flexibility was like a butterfly, and her footsteps were swift as lightning, just like the meteor shower of a star chessboard. One ring linked to another, very profound. With a sway, not only did she dodge Lu Xiao's fatal strike, she even closed the distance to be in front of her. Her footwork invaded, her attacks quick, attacking left and right, circling front and back, closely locked with one another, pressing in step by step. Lu Xiao suffered through Wu Xiou's footwork. The bones of her body seemed about to be kicked apart, basically unable to make a response. In the end, Lu Xiao could only nail her lance. Only then did she barely break out of Wu Xiou's kill zone. At this time, Lu Xiao's whole body was injured, her inner organs seemingly burning. However, Wu Xiou was no better at all. Her shoulder's bone was already ground apart by the lance's baleful aura, blood flowing like a river, painful enough to make Wu Xiou grimace. Elder sister Siyou, elder sister Shower, stop fighting. And Suwen could not stand this, using life-returning magic hands on both of them. Surface wounds could be healed, but internal injuries nevertheless took some time to recover. Little sister Suwen, doesn't this make things very difficult for Shower? Lu Xiao showed a vexed expression. She completely did not expect Suwen would heal her. Continue fighting, your servant's dark technique has not yet been used. Wu Xiou's hand beckoned, and noble frost and demonic lotus returned to her palms, again assuming a fighting stance. Elder sister. And Suwen cried. This time, slave servant shall assist you. Yan Yizhen was cold. Sister Little E, and Suwen was frantic. How could they have anticipated that Lu Xiao would return the golden Qilin lance to the void? Strength Star Jade Qilin completely did not have that sort of fervor for battle. Don't fight, don't fight. Xiao should just collect the 1,000-year tears and be done. Oh. Wu Xiao's brows rose. That man Su Xing is already a very big cheater, anyways. There isn't much difference one more time. Lu Xiao said, disheartened. Wu Xiao protecting that man like this honestly made her very envious. The 1,000-year tears are nearly gone. And Suan said. The azure blue water was increasingly dim. Wu Xiao instantly no longer wished to continue the deadlock. The space of the palace of Empress Hua warped, shuddering unsteadily. A powerful force seemingly wanted to throw the group out from within the palace of Empress Hua. The palace of Empress Hua is about to close. Let us be at a bit of peace for the time being. Lu Xiao smiled. They did not hesitate any further. Gong Kaiwei walked along some nameless corridor in the palace of Empress Hua. The repulsion of the space made the young girl increase her pace. The immortal hero princess came to a heap of rubble, a room that did not catch the eye. Looking around, she suddenly formed a hand seal. Several artifacts flew out from her astral bag and revolved in Gong Kaiwei's surroundings. Gong Kaiwei had inherited Zhu Sha's magic circles, so she was also very adept at breaking arrays. Several dozen arrays were quickly laid, forming a beautiful barrier. Starlight flickered. The faintly discernible space suddenly was cut apart as if by a blade. Legend said that the palace of Empress Hua once had a top-notch star cultivator who did not escape in time. From a freak combination of factors, they were trapped to their death within. Rumor said they once seized the tears of Empress Hua right from in front of several martial generals of great star masters. This must be the place. Dense skeletons sitting in meditation appeared before Gong Kaiwei. Senior Grand Pure 1, 3, Kaiwei offends you. Gong Kaiwei put her palms together and bowed. Great Circle Castle, ink incense burned. Noble star little whirlwind Chai Ling's expression was languid as she laid upon an aromatic chair. Her snow-white jade legs were exposed from underneath her skirt. In her bosom, she teased a cute three-eyed cat that was currently tunneling in between Chai Ling's breasts. Xing'er, how are you? And he the same. Xing'er, you truly are naughty, this palace must punish you. Xing'er, as expected, do you like this palace? Xing'er, Chai Ling's rich as jade, coquettish voice continuously spoke. The Konghou nearby buried in books could not take any more. Chai Ling, has your period come? To unexpectedly treat a cat as a man and flirt. Chai Ling was slightly drunk, her face flushed. She opened her fan to cover her red lips. This palace is bored. If you are bored, then help your humble servant find information. Are you not very concerned about that man named Su Xing? Is there not the divine mathematician's him as well? Come, help your humble servant look through these. Konghou threw over a thick almanac. It would hurt very much if it were to smash onto her. The woman did not consider Chai Ling's beauty that was too weak to withstand a single blow. The three-eyed cat, Xing'er, opened its eye and released a beam of golden light, which smashed the book down. Xing'er truly is this palace's good darling. Chai Ling pet it, smiling. She slightly wagged her finger, and several pieces of pure gold flipped out. When the three-eyed wealth-inviting beast saw this, it mewed meekly and coquettishly. It opened its mouth and adorably ate the gold. You truly are a couple. Konghou laughed. The three-eyed wealth-inviting beast specially ate gold, precious gems and metals, and so on. Furthermore, it used these sorts of things as a way to attack. It was also considered an extremely unique star beast. Perhaps only the rich and overbearing noble star was capable of raising it. How goes deciphering the verse? Konghou? Chai Ling asked her. The Qilin's snow shines red. White wave raises golden wind. Bright moon's inviting cup intoxicates a night. The broken arrow beauty plays the Konghou. The sound is faint for a millennium, without her, your lifetime is nothing but a dream of golden millet. Konghou read, this verse honestly is strange. It even has your name, Konghou. Could it be saying that Konghou is the crux to Su Xing's star duels? Qilin teased. He wants to conquer your humble servant. Konghou openly smiled. She scratched her messy hair, then your humble servant will have to groom and dress up first. Qilin was silent. However, if it is true, this verse is indeed strange. Konghou was serious. Hearing the graveness in her words, Qilin's charming gaze glanced over. How so? One line of the verse ought already have been verified now. White wave raises golden wind. Saying this, Qilin's heart was somewhat unclear. That unfaithful man took a trip to the Black Turtle territory and unexpectedly again hooked up with two sisters, which was truly defiant of the natural order. Perhaps this verse is referring to the star generals that Su Xing will contract. Qilin surmised. From the looks of white waves raises golden wind, things were unfolding in this way. The sound is faint for a millennium, without her, your lifetime is nothing but a dream of golden millet. Konghou pointed at this verse. She stroked her chin, pensive. If this is so, faint for a millennium, is referring to the pilgrim Wu Siyou who has never signed a contract in a millennium. She ought to have said something that exposed the final conclusion of the star duels. This phrase indicated, without her. Just who was this, without her? What did, dream of golden millet, mean? According to the logic of this dream of golden millet, without this one, these star duels would become completely meaningless, but Konghou flipped through countless records of star duels and did not find anything. Currently, it seemed that regardless whoever was missing, the star duels continued to operate. Could it be referring to you, Qilin? You have been outside of the star duels. In fact, is it indicating that you must participate in the star duels to be able to finally end these star duels? Konghou teased. Her guess apparently was very logical. Qilin was blank for a while, sinking into contemplation. If this is so, Qilin, you can be at ease. In the end, it seems you will become that man's woman. Konghou rested her cheek against one hand, flipping through a book with the other as she spoke freely. Elder sister, what nonsense are you saying? How could this palace like a man as unfaithful as that? Qilin used her golden thread feather fan to cover her half-worried, half-delighted face. You are even pretending in front of your humble servant. Konghou glanced at her, a sort of, don't be so tsundere, Queen your highness, look, ever since you and he parted ways, you have always secretly kept track of his whereabouts. You care so much about him, do not tell your humble servant that you are merely in heat, Qilin. Elder sister truly speaks without hiding anything. Qilin's face was red. Fortunately, this library did not have outsiders, otherwise, she definitely would have stormed off in a huff. Little restrained actually has. Konghou showed pure white teeth, that smile making Qilin grit her teeth. Mentioning Su Xing, Konghou asked her, and what has that man been doing as of late? This palace does not know. Qilin did not want to answer. Qilin, you can also throw tantrums. Konghou said. Your humble servant wants his location, it is better for deciphering the verse. Qilin muttered. Su Xing and the Zhang sisters went to Black Turtle Temple, but afterwards, they constantly have not appeared. This palace completely does not know his status at all. That water illusion fairy has also vanished. It seems they definitely have obtained the great good fortune pill and eloped. Truly unfaithful. This palace does not know what part of that man is good, to unexpectedly start a harem in front of this palace's eyes. He was truly thoroughly repulsive. Then why do you follow him so closely? About this palace naturally is thinking of ascertaining his true colors, besides, this palace and he have the together to hell. If something was to happen to him, this palace would also suffer. Concern is only natural. Qilin felt this justification was very good. Qilin, Ling, if you continue this, be careful of missing your opportunity, or there will be no more. Konghou pursed her lips, reminding her about the information they learned from the Spring Breeze Drunken Rain Pavilion, Su Xing's maximum of 15-star generals. Now, Su Xing already had 10-star generals. Not outside of expectations, he already had husband and wife addresses. The intimately affectionate Wu Siyou and even White Stripe in the Waves Zhang Yuqi may possibly become Su Xing's 11th and 12th star generals. Although there were several other spots, to think that Su Xing had just barely walked into the Black Turtle territory and was contracted by the most beautiful of Maiden Mountain's 108-star generals, bright star 10 feet of blue Hu Sanyang, heaven knew how many more this man would attract before the final phase ended. Could it be this palace cannot sign a contract with anyone else? Qilin smiled. Qilin, are you actually able to do so? Konghou grinned widely. Drinking the together to hell was just like a husband and wife exchanging marriage ceremony cups. To make Qilin sign a lifelong contract with anyone else, with Qilin's pride, that basically was an impossible matter. Qilin's brow wrinkled, but the star generals on Jiang Shueishue's verse are not related to this palace at all. Hearing that Qilin was somewhat emotional, Konghou smiled. Your humble servant has read books for so many years, Qilin, you guess. What is your humble servant's greatest gain? It is elder sister's clever and eloquent bronze teeth. Qilin sneered. No, word games. Konghou said, Liangshan continent's written language is broad and deep. One phrase can have multiple explanations, and just like this verse, people who have different thoughts can comprehend countless ways of thinking. Is having a relationship not so simple? Elder sister's meaning is? Qilin looked pensively. The Bright Moon Longevity Palace, are you not inviting him to go collect the tears of Vega together? This is a perfect opportunity. Konghou yawned. Bright Moon's inviting cup intoxicates a night. Qilin recalled this line of the verse. Bright Moon, inviting cup, intoxicates, a night, Qilin muttered. Noble star little whirlwind wrinkled her brow. To be intoxicated for a night with a man, it sounded as if it had some sort of heart-throbbing, blush-inducing negative connotation. Meow. The three-eyed wealth-inviting beast on her bosom mewed. Qilin regained her senses. Out of the corner of her eye, she suddenly noticed Konghou was currently mockingly looking her up and down. Just now, she appeared to have been too concentrated on this matter. The noble star was slightly resentful. Your humble servant is but truly thinking for your sake, Qilin. Konghou shook her head. Why would this palace want to send herself to him? Qilin felt that even if she signed a contract, she would have absolutely no face before those sisters. Then it would be more interesting for her to wait in the Purple Firmament Palace and tease Xing'er. Konghou disapprovingly said, Queen Your Highness, could it be that an otaku hikikomori like you is still hoping that on the outside a wave of people will voluntarily chase after you from all directions to give rise to a deeply moving story? But how can this palace throw herself out there, let them belittle myself? Qilin was very determined. So, create the opportunity yourself. Do not always wait for a meat pie to drop down from the heavens. Konghou was like an elder giving patient guidance. Fine, elder sister Konghou and this palace will go contract with him together, how about that? As long as a contract is possible, your servant will groom herself. This sort of counterattack was a small appetizer to Konghou. Having been shot down, Qilin twitched her lips. Qilin, do you not feel bored right now? Participate in the star duels. Since you can become the first noble star to obtain a star beast, then why not be the first little whirlwind to ascend Maiden Mountain? People who always wait for others to initiate often will achieve nothing, have nothing. Konghou challenged her, belittled her. Elder sister Konghou is less and less like an elder sister. Konghou laughed. Qilin stroked Xing'er. As she pondered, Konghou once again sunk her focus into the sea of books. Outside the door, Jinji and Yuye stepped forward to report. Milady, Su Xing is outside the castle, requesting an audience. Is it actually Su Xing? Chai Ling was a little surprised. She had just been confused as to where this man had gone. She never expected that he would instantly appear before her right now. It appears he also is concerned about you, Chai Ling. Konghou mockingly reviewed. Noble star Little Whirlwind's lips carelessly rose. Have him come to the purple fragrant palace. As you bid. Chai Ling indolently rose. Her jade-like breasts raised wonderful curves. Don't go into heat. If you are, do it in front of that man. Konghou smiled unhappily. Humph. Seeing Chai Ling so charming, Konghou smiled. A bit of craftiness flashed through her eyes. He came at the perfect time. Purple fragrant palace. When Su Xing spotted Chai Ling, she had her customary charm. Zhang Feiyu and Siyou's mouths gaped. They were subdued by Chai Ling's graceful and lovely air. This made Chai Ling considerably satisfied. These sisters are. Chai Ling feigned ignorance. This is my wife. Su Xing introduced Hunyangzi. This is my daughter. The Baiyutang against his chest was like a little rat, incessantly timid. 2. Su Xing, are you dragged down by a family to feed? Chai Ling was defeated. She glanced at Siyou and Zhang Feiyu. That must be your lover. Siyou smiled, not at all offended by this sort of speculation. Zhang Feiyu pursed her lips. She very much disliked Chai Ling's haughty behavior, but the little whirlwind had a very bossy and powerful aura. Add on that this great circle castle's style was extraordinary and mightily impressive, the boatman was quite pressured. If she was a lover, then she was a lover. It was not as if she would lose a piece of flesh. Zhang Feiyu was silent. The dainty maid steeped tea for the guests, but how could Su Xing have the mood to chat with Chai Ling right now? His mind was wholly placed on Zhang Yuqi. I have something I want to ask you to help with. That depends on this palace's mood. Chai Ling was determined to put on airs for this man, gracefully stroking Xing'er. How could Su Xing not see Chai Ling's haughtiness, so he explained Zhang Yuqi's circumstances. After Chai Ling finished listening, she put away her queen-like charm, her bearing dignified. She stepped off the fragrant couch, hinting to Jinji and Yuye to lay Zhang Yuqi onto the couch. Oh, her skin is so white, how is it so glossy, Chai Ling murmured. First take a look at just what's happening. Is she also your lover? You are truly worried. Chai Ling stared at Su Xing, unhappily asking. Did you ask Suan? Chai Ling said, efficacious star divine physician ought to be able to take care of this. Suan isn't with me. Let alone this seems to not have anything to do with her wounds. Su Xing hesitated. How do you say? Su Xing and my little sister are unable to sign a contract even though they tried. It says she has a soul has been lost status. I fear it's the 9 Nether Devil's Star Stone. We want to know if you have any solutions, Chai Ling. Zhang Feiyu could not help but ask. He truly is a womanizing man. Chai Ling glared at Su Xing, lowering her head in contemplation. She stroked the Persian cat in her bosom. The 9 Nether Devil Star Stone. This palace honestly has never heard of it. Even you don't know. Su Xing found things thorny. What is the point of being so worried? Star generals cannot possibly be unable to sign contracts without reason. We need only investigate for medicines that are capable of curing the 9-star Devil Star Stone. This is the purpose for which dear husband came. Hunyangzi looked oddly at Chai Ling. She overall felt that noble star Little Whirlwind and her dear husband had improper feelings. How much more charming could those eyes be? The Great Circle Castle has countless records of the star duels. This palace will help you search. It would be better to rest again tonight. This palace just so happens to have some spirit medicines that we can see if perhaps they are useful. Chai Ling thought. They could only do so for now. Jinji, Yuya, prepare a sumptuous banquet. This palace wants to properly entertain the sisters. Qilin ordered. As you command, milady. Jinji and Yuye withdrew. Wait here a while for now. This palace shall go change clothes. Little Whirlwind faintly smiled, turning and walking into her chambers. So amazing. This is the legendary noble star Little Whirlwind placed outside of the star duels. Water illusion fairy Siyou had long heard of Qilin's reputation. Compared to the awe-inspiring Great Circle Castle, the Black Turtle Territory's 9 Dragons Palace and Devil Star Palace became insignificant. She's just a bit arrogant, this Chai Jin seems to be interested in Su Xing. Zhang Feiyu twitched her lips. How did Milord become acquainted with noblewoman Chai? Siyou's curiosity was what the others wanted to ask as well. It was nothing. We collaborated in Evil Smiting Hall. Su Xing summarized. As for the together to hell matter, he made an understandable omission. He presumed the haughty Qilin would not wish for others to know about this. Qilin did not leave at all. She merely stayed behind a screen. When Su Xing's words entered her ears, seeing him remember their matters very vividly, her heart was somewhat happy. This man actually is meticulous. However, shooting a glance at the hateful Hunyangzi, Qilin was again a bit gloomy. Konghou said to sign a contract, but what could an utterly powerless star general like her even do? 15 was the limit. Was this man truly willing? Complicated thoughts bubbled forth in her heart, messy, messy, messy. Returning to the ink incense room, Qilin spotted Konghou still buried in books. What, Qilin, your mood has soured. Konghou glanced out the corner of her eye. That man is tied down by a family. This makes this palace so gloomy. Qilin said. Jealous? Konghou smiled. Qilin opened her fan and fanned herself. Elder sister Konghou, have you heard of the 9 Nether Devil Star Stone? The 9 Nether Devil Star Stone, your humble servant saw it recorded in a secret annal. Konghou recalled, wrinkling her brow. Why did he ask about this? This item must be encountered, not obtained. The white stripe in the waves seems to have been cut down by a 9 Nether Devil Star Stone enhanced great blade. The result is that her soul has been lost, incapable of signing a contract. Konghou muttered to herself. Does elder sister have any solutions? Have them rest for the night. Your humble servant shall go find that secret annal. Your humble servant will give you a response tomorrow. Konghou thought. Qilin knew that Konghou has a very good memory. Just listen to your humble servant's words, that will be enough. Konghou grabbed a pot of red robe tea, drinking a mouthful from the spout. Qilin said nothing more. Bai Yutong looked curiously at the three-eyed wealth-inviting beast napping on the aromatic couch. Her little hand slightly poked it. The three-eyed wealth-inviting beast opened its third, glimmering eye, making Bai Yutong yelp in fright, yet it was actually her star beast, the essence spirit rat, Bai, that hid in fear. Meow, purr. The three-eyed wealth-inviting beast licked Bai Yutong's finger, which made the little lowly's eyes squint in happiness. As expected of noblewoman Chai, to raise such a strange cat. It has 3 eyes. I've never heard of this. That is Qilin's star beast, the three-eyed wealth-inviting beast. Su Xing explained. This is the noble star's star beast. The girls all had surprised expressions. This star beast honestly is very suitable for the noble star who lives like a princess. Zhang Feiyu twitched her lips. Boatman, you will suffer if this palace's Xing'er is angered. Hearing a gentle as jade voice, Qilin gracefully bloomed her fan. A beautiful palace dress outlined her very sumptuous curves. On her head was a honeyflower crystal hairpin and a pearl frontlet. Her waist had a light blue tasseled sash. She appeared exquisite, and the bangs in front of her forehead drifted. Her smile was pretty, just like an immortal. I've never fought with the star beast of the noble star. Zhang Feiyu could not help saying. Feiyu. Siyou shook her head. Seeing Chai Ling approached, Bai Yutang hid behind Su Xing, somewhat shy. Chai Ling smiled and beckoned with her hands. The three-eyed wealth-inviting beast jumped into the queen's bosom, enjoying the soft nephrite. "How are things?" Su Xing asked her. "It will take some time. This palace shall respond to you tomorrow," Chai Ling said. "Milady, the banquet has already been prepared," Jinji and Ye respectfully said. "Everyone, please." The group could not decline and followed the maids into the main hall. Chai Ling sat in the very back, side by side with Su Xing. Her fragrance attacked him, seeping into his heart. "Su Xing, this palace wishes to say something to you." "Then speak." Su Xing looked at her. "You have not forgotten about the together to hell?" "Right." Su Xing's expression that apparently only just remembered this made Chai Ling's stomach churn. "You are known as Liangshan Continent's #1 wealthy woman. Could it be you don't have a solution?" Su Xing was indifferent. "The Bright Moon Longevity Palace has the Tears of Vega. You must accompany this palace to leave for it together." "This is no problem." Su Xing had already heard of the legendary palace, and he always wanted to see the real thing. Chai Ling gently pet the three-eyed wealth-inviting beast in her bosom, saying with a seemingly deeper meaning, "Xing'er, do you like this palace?" Su Xing was taken aback. Chai Ling's question was somewhat direct. Chai Ling lowered her eyes. Her hair flowed next to her ears, the scene of a beauty in love. "Could I have done the together to hell with you if I didn't?" Su Xing replied. Chai Ling's lips curled slightly. She wore a touching smile. The noble star raised her head and sighed. "What are you saying? This palace is asking the star beast." "Ugh." Su Xing actually forgot Chai Ling's star beast was also named Xing'er. With her appearance just now, Su Xing honestly thought there was nothing to it. "Did you do that on purpose?" Chai Ling was beautiful and charming. "Since you like it, this palace shall also address you as Xing'er from now on." As he expected, it was on purpose. The night was cool as water, the moon bright as a mirror. Su Xing flipped to and fro, unable to fall asleep. Because little Huang used 4 dark techniques, she consumed too much energy and was currently fast asleep in the star nest, resting. Hun Yangzi also apparently began to loathe the star nest, unwilling to enter. Chai Ling arranged another room for her, and the cute Bai Yutang was tricked into the noble star's room by the three-eyed wealth-inviting beast. It was very rare, but on this night, there was only Su Xing by himself. He wondered how Yingmei, Xinjie, Siyou, Little Yi, Suan, and Yuana were on the outside right now. They ought to be doing fine, right? There was no activity in the star nest. Su Xing tossed about repeatedly, their faces always in his mind. 1 month was not long, but when things grew quiet, a very long time seemed to have passed. Counting the days, Maiden Mountain's trial should more or less be about to begin, and he did not know what trial it was. However, judging by Chao Gai's not at all relaxed expression, rather than say it was a trial, it was better to say it was a throttling. How could Su Xing sleep in peace? His thoughts rapidly spun, and then he left the room. Outside the palace hall was a valley. Not only was the noble star able to earn money, she could even enjoy it. With verdant hills and limpid waters, this was the work of heaven. Far away, there was even white mist drifting into the sky. What lay before Su Xing was a lot. Besides refining the earth book's projection, the meditative mind lotus seed and other Buddhist powers, the black turtle seal he obtained from the Black Turtle Temple and the 12 earth element flying swords had become new assignments. However, forging the 12 flying swords required several days' time. Su Xing set it aside for the time being. First of all, he was to refine the black turtle seal. He found a quiet and secluded place. Su Xing released the black turtle seal. This 4-sided great seal was finely crafted, with 4 embossed characters on the underside, Black Turtle Guarding Seas. Prehistoric lost treasures and immemorial lost treasures were about the same, but what was forged would be a prehistoric spirit treasure. For things like this black turtle seal that had been pressed under the black turtle temple for who knows how many centuries, its spiritual power was overflowing. Before even refining it, he could sense it was extraordinary. Su Xing originally could have sought out Tang Lianxin's help to refine it. However, the girl had been constantly laboring for half a year, day in and day out without stopping. She did not close her eyes at all refining the Zhen Wu divine iron. Su Xing naturally could not trouble her any further. Moreover, in any case, he was of the Four Styles school, the tool refinement great sect, Zhu Yueka's genius disciple. This is perfect to test that Four Styles forging. Su Xing tenderly smiled when he recalled Tang Lianxin's painstaking research. He had proficiency with the Heavenly Water Heart Fire, the Earth Book, the Fire Spirit Magic Sarira, the Wind Spirit Magic Sarira, and the Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder. Now was only refining a lost treasure into a spirit treasure, which was not difficult. Doing as he said, Su Xing's divine intent was imbued into the black turtle seal. Suddenly, his complexion concentrated. He sighed and pointed. The mouth of the black turtle on the seal held a weak, mung bean-sized blue flame. It honestly was not visible unless one was attentive. This is earthly yin cold fire. Su Xing knew that things that were closer to sun essence belonged to heavenly fire and were categorized as extreme yang, and the deepest darkness was characterized as extreme yin. The two types of yin and yang flames were encountered, not sought. However, cultivating them were astonishingly famous abilities, like the extreme yang's, golden crow's spirit flame, which he once witnessed in the vermilion bird territory. However, yin fire was extremely rare. Books wrote about some, earth primordial cold flame, 2, 9 nether icely, 3, however, they were all legends. Now, it was actually very rare to hear of someone refining it. Deep inquiries to find this kind of yin fire were too few. One could well imagine how difficult the flames under the abyss were. Su Xing thought. The Great Good Fortune Pill's frost flame, it appeared that this flame induced the Great Good Fortune Pill. Perfect. I have the Heavenly Water Heart Flame that can refine it. Su Xing chuckled. One more method was one more choice. He had never been stingy. Striking a hand seal, that feeble blue fire hovered in the air. That blue fire was extremely cold, but weak. Once released, a range of 100 meters froze over. Su Xing felt cold, afraid that after he finished refining it, the mountain river would become an ice river. Su Xing was even more excited. He slightly opened his mouth, and that frost flame flew into his mouth. Entering his body, Su Xing instantly only felt his whole body's organs, limbs, and meridians all freeze. His entire shivered, and cold air leaked out of him. Su Xing immediately activated the Heavenly Water Heart Fire to envelope the blue frost. He circulated the star energy in his body, and only then did that extremely cold feeling gradually disappear. So powerful. He nearly was done for. Su Xing took a deep breath, activating the heart-like mirror. He began to slowly refine that ice and frost into his body. Thus, a strange scene appeared. Su Xing quietly sat on a rock. The surrounding river turned to ice, the vegetation froze. The deathly stillness of a world of ice and snow had appeared. A northern wind howled, and the person himself was completely covered in frost. He was covered in a thick layer, like an ice sculpture, but in this icy chill, Su Xing's surroundings manifested a golden lotus. The golden lotus flower bloomed, and upon touching the ice, it withered yet bloomed again and again. This cycle multiplied, growing without end, unending. On the palace, a blue and white-clothed, lustrous young girl was currently looking at Su Xing in the distance, her eyes full of complex feelings. Hu Sanyang's eyes were occasionally sorrowful, occasionally bitter, occasionally joyous. Every sort of feeling flashed by non-stop. Has something embarrassing been done to this little sister by that man? Do you need to make a confession? A demon-like voice carrying a very magnetic force rang out. 10 feet of blue. Hunyangzi was startled. Her heart was stunned, and turning her head to look, she spotted a considerably tall woman standing in front of her. She was wrapped in black skin-tight clothing, stretched taut along her shapely curves. That figure truly was quite good, and even Hunyangzi admired the sight. However, Hunyangzi showed surprise. She unexpectedly was totally oblivious as to when the woman had walked near her, as if she was already waiting at this place. This kind of feeling genuinely was too terrifying. If she wanted to kill her, was that not an end in one strike? Has your humble servant guessed correctly? The woman smiled. She again returned her gaze to the Su Xing cultivating in the courtyard. This man truly is hardworking. And, only a hardworking man is worth a woman's dearest love. Little sister had best tell him directly. Misunderstandings like this are only in those melodramatic third-rate novel plots. What is happening? Hunyangzi's tongue went numb. A feeling of dread emerged all over her body. She felt her whole body, her hands and feet, seemed to have been locked down by invisible shackles. She unexpectedly was unable to budge. The woman appeared carefree, calm, and friendly, but her imposing aura made Hunyangzi feel like she was facing a great enemy. This sort of pressure was stifling. Will I die? Under Hunyangzi's strong willpower, her fingers slowly moved. Hunyangzi suddenly noticed that the woman was carrying a bundle of silk on her shoulder. A beautiful body was faintly discernible within, and as she was sizing up Su Xing, Hunyangzi was shocked to discover that the woman being carried was not just anyone. She unexpectedly was the master of the Great Circle Castle, noble star Little Whirlwind Qilin. Just who is she? Danger. Gold and blue light flashed across her spotlessly white palms. The golden wind and morning dew double sabers appeared. Your humble servant has some things to do. Your humble servant asks that little sister take a nap. The woman smiled and suddenly drew near. Hey! A shout broke free of Hunyangzi's throat. Like a flying magpie, she danced, and her saber light was imposing. Dark technique, flying star magpie dance. The woman's figure dispersed, like a disappearing phantom. Hunyangzi's eyes widened. She stooped, and her opponent's punch gently exploded against her belly. Just with such a light punch, Hunyangzi nevertheless felt might more powerful than Mount Tai. Her consciousness rapidly receded. Dear husband, run away, quickly, Hunyangzi toppled over. Before she lost consciousness, warmth flashed past the woman's gaze. Su Xing refined this fire, his speed extremely quick. If it was any other cultivator, just refining this feeble extreme cold fire would require several dozen days, even longer. Su Xing might as well use every sort of method to accelerate his progress. A long while afterwards, the ice sealing Su Xing's body slowly disappeared and melted. That feeble flame was nearly completely absorbed. Su Xing snapped. A frost-like flame flew out. This flame was slightly larger than a soybean, its frostlight fluttering. An icy wind rose, seemingly like a thin sheet of ice. What's a good name to give it? Su Xing muttered. A name that Liangshan did not have. Abilities cultivated by oneself often were named by oneself. That tiny bit of flame gently sparked, and the entire sky immediately froze over. Su Xing saw that because of a mere speck of ice flame, the surrounding several hundred meters were blown by northern winds and snow. He could not help but reminisce somewhat. He remembered a time on Earth when he saw a book. This book had a female main character named Setsuna Yuki. Su Xing was rather fond of this name, but it was a pity that author was abnormal. She was obviously the female lead from start to finish, yet she never showed her face. Only at the end did he see her true identity. Truly despicable. Such a beautiful name unexpectedly was only an extra. This truly was a waste of a gift. Do you even understand the rules to novels? Su Xing thought for a while and finally decided on the name. Setsuna Yuki. Instant frost flame. 5. Just as Su Xing thought this, a distinct yell suddenly came through the night. Hun Yangzi's urgent voice immediately interrupted Su Xing's thoughts. He raised his head and looked towards the palace, just happening to catch sight of Hun Yangzi and a woman. That woman seemed to easily slip by, and Hun Yangzi then collapsed. Su Xing's face drained of color, reaching there within a few breaths using an escape technique. The woman clad in skin-tight black clothing saw Su Xing arrive. She was neither fast nor slow, not caring in the slightest that she was discovered. She merely smiled, turning around and leaving. Wife. Su Xing tested Hun Yangzi's breathing. Fortunately, she was only unconscious, with no big obstructions. His hand pressed Hun Yangzi's forehead. Su Xing's expression suddenly concentrated. The wind rose. Qilin. Su Xing returned to his senses. The moonlight flashed by, and Su Xing spotted the Qilin being carried on the woman's shoulder. How could Su Xing sit by and watch? Without the slightest hesitation, he used the chaotic tail escape. Blood-colored light flashed. The woman in nocturnal clothes slowly tread with footsteps light as a feather. She cast a glance at him. A blood-red light flashed in her eyes. Su Xing had astonishingly arrived right in front of her. Such swift speed. The woman's heart thumped. Her steps gracefully floated backwards, surprisingly evading Su Xing's punch that was quick as thunder. Huh? Su Xing was surprised. His chaotic tail escape was unexpectedly avoided. Was this woman's reaction strength a monster's? Could she be a star general? The thought flashed through his head. Su Xing endured the painful spasms of the chaotic tail escape, grimacing as he blocked in front of the woman. Put her down. Your humble servant is but a notorious bandit, specialized with indulging in secret affairs with women. Is this Queen Little Whirlwind very sexy? The woman smiled, shrugging her shoulder. Qilin supple but rippled with waves. Her silk robes fluttered, exposing her underwear that was thin as a cicada's wing, even forming a T-shape. 6. Su Xing nearly sprayed blood. This Qilin honestly was secretly bold, to unexpectedly wear a thong underneath. Your body is very honest. Your humble servant has quite a good feeling about you. How about we indulge in her together? The woman invited. Courting death. Su Xing's palm attacked. Then you indeed are courting death. His counterpart's smile instantly became sinister. There was no need for any more words. Su Xing's legs suddenly exerted strength. The frozen ground instantly erupted. A powerful force made the sheet of ice shatter, sending ice shards flying. In the icy mist filling the sky, Su Xing's silhouette was just like a sharp sword tearing space apart. At the same time, 24 flying swords whistled out, carving twisting bolts of gold and green lights. Su Xing instantly went full force. In the blink of an eye, he was already in front of the woman. His body leaned, and he struck full power with a fist brimming with the monster's strength innate skill of Lu Shaking. On his fist was a whirling golden lotus. It appeared surprisingly like a twisting tornado, the scream of ripping air about to tear eardrums. Meditative mind lotus flower. You cannot be this surprising, the woman in the night gently chuckled. She grunted, and her body floated. In an instant, she unexpectedly retreated several zhang, with a pace like when Su Xing used the chaotic tail escape. He completely was unable to see how his opponent moved. This footwork was somewhat profound. Su Xing's fist merely struck the air futilely. An embarrassing punch. You have declined your humble servant's good intentions. Then properly enjoy being tormented to the end. The monster from who knows where announced. She merely hid, and then she blended into the night afterwards. Her presence had completely vanished. Su Xing's divine intent released in search of her, but he was unable to detect even the slightest breath. He had thoroughly lost all traces of the opponent. She couldn't be this far beyond reason. Su Xing wrinkled his brow. He had innate skills that could contend against star generals, but this was the first time he had encountered this kind of situation. Was this woman an assassin? A soft laugh was in the wind. Something whistled over. Laughing during a sneak attack really is a fatal mistake. Su Xing pointed, and his flying swords plunged. The masked woman once again disappeared. Such swift speed, and to still have leeway in her speed even while carrying Qilin, what was going on? Where did this cheat pop out from? He brainstormed. Su Xing could not be distracted. Hey! Again, he made a horizontal sweep in passing. The masked woman was just like a phantom. Although Su Xing once again determined her direction, his opponent's speed already was incapable of being described with words. Su Xing activated light smoke dance steps, his flying swords slashed about with all their might. Battle start. The masked woman seemingly ordered. Just like a dedicated teacher, she suddenly appeared right under Su Xing's ribs. One punch attacked, the attack speed far from being as fast as her movements. He wondered what she cultivated, for Su Xing was caught up in her battle rhythm. He could not help but hit back, and his speed inadvertently accelerated somewhat. The pair's extreme speed unfolded into a war. The pair's silhouettes were practically obscured during combat. Only an indistinct shadow flitted about in the air. Continuous booms endlessly exploded in the air. At random times, entangled shadows and wind would suddenly appear visible. A strange picture of death was drawn out of the dark night by a sort of inexplicable energy. The flying swords seemed to lose their usefulness. Could your speed be any slower? A considerably bored voice, a pain in the ass evaluation for Su Xing. The masked woman used only one hand to catch Su Xing's attack. Could you be a bit faster? Su Xing smiled, tapping his thumb with his ring finger. A bean-sized frostfire jumped out, gently snapping and falling on the masked woman's body. Instant frostfire. The masked woman clearly did not anticipate this. One arm was immediately frozen into frost. This instant snow was formidable, as expected, for just this bit to have such an effect. Su Xing did not hesitate. Pointing, the 24 flying swords suddenly descended. Are you trying to kill her? How could he have anticipated that the masked woman would surprisingly use Qilin as a shield? Damn it! Su Xing stopped to avoid friendly fire, switching to close combat. His hand flipped out the thousand-year divine sword, and his left hand gripped purple thunder. What would be perfect was for the sword to completely strike the target. Yet it was an afterimage that broke. The masked woman's sneer was colder than that frostfire. Her palm chop descended, just like a crescent moon in the gloomy sky. Too fast. Su Xing had no choice but to use the chaotic tail escape, but in that instant after he shifted, basically in that practically infinitesimal second of pain, the masked woman was eerily already standing right beside him. That kind of slender build was just like an apparition, as if she had already been waiting for him. This kind of escape technique is best used sparingly because it is completely useless. Accompanying this insulting evaluation was also this masked woman's punch that was light as a feather. This palm clearly was very gentle, a palm technique that was gentle to the point its earth-shattering and oppressive approach was apparently imperceptible, but the moment the strike landed on Su Xing, the star energy concentrated in his whole body seemed to crumble like paper shreds. Her palm apparently imprinted on his body, the light as a feather touch instantly turning into the 5 sacred mountains. The powerful force poured like a wild river. This sort of feeling was as if he had been smashed by the green lotus peak. So painful. Su Xing's body astonishingly displayed a deep palm-shaped hole. A large amount of blood sprayed freely from that hole. A bright mist of red instantly stained the white snow crimson. An acute pain nearly made Su Xing fall unconscious. Your humble servant asks you again, do you have any regrets? The masked woman faintly smiled. Su Xing did not answer. A swift and severe attack surpassed all replies. This kind of pain counted as nothing to Su Xing. The pain of cultivating the chaotic tail escape was more severe than this. Oh. The masked woman did not anticipate that Su Xing would recover so quickly. According to her calculations, Su Xing would have required at least 5 or 6 seconds in order to break free of the pain in his body. She adjusted her attack rhythm again. You truly are an odd man, the masked woman's voice was cold but really had slight doubt. In an instant, 2 lights of gold and green exploded in the air. 2 several long giant green swords appeared, thoroughly chilling. Su Xing's eyes flashed an odd glint. He silently opened his mouth, read an incantation, separately chanting to each of the 2 giant swords. Upon touching the green qi, the giant swords glowed magnificently. They dropped one after another amid the soft chanting. They aggressively slashed towards the masked woman. If he was just controlling 2 swords, Su Xing had the confidence he would not hurt Chai Ling, bang, bang, 2 enormous noises. What made Su Xing surprised was that the masked woman caught each sword with one hand. A white killing intent poured out. Green rays and white light intermingled, but the 2 swords could barely press down the white light by a few inches before they were completely and bluntly repelled. They again dispersed in midair. The flying swords were completely useless. Do you even actually want this woman? The masked woman asked. Su Xing was spontaneously powerless. Even when he confronted Emperor Liang, he had never had this sort of feeling. If this woman was a star general, that was also abnormally strong. Even Lu Xiao was not necessarily her opponent. If she was not a star general, then this strayed too far from logic. Put her down. Su Xing's wrist flipped, and then he pursued. If you want her, then allow your humble servant see just how much you want her. A very baffling and unconventional provocation. The masked woman's figure vanished. An enormous sense of danger made Su Xing's limbs ice-cold, more ice-cold than the winter in his surroundings. He could not even think of taking action. His palms swiped the air, and a cold intent brushed past Su Xing's skin. The masked woman's phantom appeared next to him, her white hand gracefully clapping onto Su Xing's shoulder. And this was still under the condition she was carrying a woman. What sort of speed was this? This was cheating. Su Xing's heart groaned. A wind that had stopped at some unknown time suddenly was like a devil that had been let out of its cage, roaring with bared fangs. Pain, an even deeper pain. Like 1,000 blades dragging 10,000 times across his skin, they lacerated him into dripping blood. Suddenly, bloodlight erupted, and his shirt became shreds that gracefully filled the night sky. Accompanying the shreds were countless rays of bloodlight. Just where did this woman come from? Could this have been sent by Maiden Mountain like it? You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.